Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the 238th edition of the Boxing Asylum Nuthouse podcast. I'm your host, Steve Wellings, and joining me this evening we have Tommy the Guru Allen, Dave the Hater Lowback, Adam Smith, and Andy Patterson. Suppose you're wondering, everybody, what we're going to be talking about tonight. Well, we're wondering a little bit ourselves, to be honest with you. There was frig all on over the weekend. I hope you enjoyed yourselves, whatever you're up to out there, good listeners. There's pretty much nothing till Tuesday night, a card over in Japan. So we're going to start off with the Terence Crawford Julius Indongo fight preview. We're then going to move on to our pound for pound lists. There's still time to get yours in if you want to send them me on Twitter or on Facebook. And then we're going to talk, I know that we said we wouldn't, maybe about the knockdown, McGregor, Malignaggi. We really are scraping the barrel this week. But anyway, let's get it started over in the Pinnacle Bank Arena in Lincoln, Nebraska. Terence Crawford against Julius Indongo, all the baubles on the line. IBF, WBA, WBC and WBO. The IBO unfortunately won't be on the line as Julius Indongo has refused to pay the sanctioning fees. How dare he? But still, all the other bits of silver are there. 22-0 Indongo, 31-0 Terence Crawford. Andy, it is a super fight to see who is the number one in the super lightweight division. We don't see these unifications all that often these days. So from that point at least, it is a welcome thing to be seeing next weekend.
Yep, glad that happened so quick actually, even after Indongo beat Burns. Indongo, I'll probably say, he still really is a bit unknown really. I mean, obviously, people don't rate Burns. They actually kind of, say he's like the worst three-weight champion ever or whatever. Fair enough, slow, probably flat-footed, unable to pull the trigger, I suppose. So Indongo basically had his way with him for large portions of that fight. I do remember for the Burns fight, I did think it ran about round 6, round 7. I thought Indongo was maybe kind of, gassed a wee bit, but he kind of rode the course. Big guy for the weight as well. Awkward southpaw. As I say, he is still unknown because obviously you would think off that Troy Onosky fight, it's a one punch, doesn't really tell as much. He beats Burns, who way past his best. As I say, so you would think stepping up to Crawford and that he is a strong underdog, I would think, but you just think Crawford's just too good in every department. Switching stances. I think I dare say his best shot's going to be obviously the straight left hand. But I do expect a kind of comfortable-ish night for Crawford. I do think he's going to win it on points widely, 118, 110 type thing. And as you say, Steve, it's a welcome addition to get all the titles on the line, get undisputed lineal champ. There's no debate here. The problem's going to be after the fight actually is when the ABCs start actually, asking for mandatory defences that, Crawford might not want to take, but, he's got the ESPN TV deal there as well, so he could maybe be fighting more regularly, so, he might get those mandatory fights for Crawford fighting on the ESPN coming up.
Tommy, this might be a strange thing to say. I do come off with some odd things now and again, but despite the fact that Crawford has looked so brilliant, he's fought decent fighters, his resume doesn't stack up really when you look down at it. With the great names, you've got Victor Postol there, you've got winning the title off Burns, you've got Beltran, you've got guys like Delorme, John Molina. He hasn't really got the names at the moment. Not saying it's his fault, Tommy, but it doesn't stack up yet on the record, does it, for Crawford?
It doesn't. He's kind of like Triple G in that sense, he's been really dominant. I think he gets so much credit for the way he's actually dominated the opponents that he's faced rather than who he's faced, but you can't take it away from him. This is his big coming out fight for me. I think everybody, especially in boxing, knows how good Indongo is. He's had a brilliant run there, obviously against the Russian guy. He's came over and he's absolutely dominated Ricky Burns. It's just a shame that the four belts are now on the line for the fight. It'd been good to see the four of them unified, but I can't see anything but a Crawford.
That is the four of them. That is the four of them.
Is the four of them definitely on the line? I thought
it's the IBO that's not on the line, Tommy.
Oh, the IBO's not. I thought it was IBF.
No, it's the esteemed IBO, which I'm sure you're still annoyed about that, though.
That's good then, man. Get that to fuck anyway. You need to get rid of them bullshit title. Well, that's good then. The four titles on the line and that, so that's a good thing. But as I say, this is his last fight. I think it's going to be at 140. He's been absolutely dominant. He's really looked good against that field. I never seen the John Molina fight. I seen him last time out against Felix Diaz. Felix Diaz is a good fighter. I think he was a wee bit overhyped going into the fight as a top opponent. But the way Crawford dealt with him, man, he was just punishing him, just done what he wanted. He was switching. Oh man, he looked absolutely frightening. Potentially the best pound for pound fighter in the world. Get this guy done with an up to welterweights for some big fights up there. Crawford's absolutely unstoppable right now, isn't he?
What about Indongo, Tommy? Give me a word about him. He's a bit of a surprise package. He obviously went over to Russia and upset Troyanovsky. He looked pretty good against Ricky Burns. Obviously, a depleted version of Burns, it might be said. Has he been flattered by these last couple of wins, or is he someone we have to take seriously?
Well, I think just the manner of these two victories against, I think Troyanovsky's a very good fighter. I know that he put him away, he iced him, but as we see in the lead up to the Burns fight, you can't really take much for that. But I think the way he dealt with Ricky Burns, it is an impressive. Nobody really does that to Ricky Burns. Crawford done it to him, shut him out. But I think just that the manner that Burns is a competitive fighter. He's been competitive against an awful lot of good fighters. He's beat a lot of good fighters. The manner of that victory against Burns, who absolutely dominated him, was really good. If you've seen, Figure was back again. Figure was looking good. Burns could have easily got that decision against Figure. It was a close fight, and he's just, Ndongo's went out there and dominated Ricky. I think the guy's proved his level. I'm not going to see he's an A-level fighter yet. This fight will prove exactly where he is, but he could be a B. He could be a very good B+ fighter. I didn't expect nothing less than a Crawford victory, but he's definitely earned his stripes. He deserves champion, and he deserves this big fight.
Smido, Ndongo's a big lad, as we've seen. I think Boxrec have him down as about 5'10", 5'10 and a half, something like that. Those are the type.
He looked bigger than Ricky, didn't he? Ricky's about 5'9", 5'10", isn't he?
That's what I was saying, mate. When I watched him, when I was ringside for the Burns fight, he was round 7. He looked like he was gassed. See, he is big for a bit. He must be dragging himself down there, like.
Aye.
That's what I was going to say to Smido, though. Do you think those advantages will tell? Because Crawford, he seems to be able to do everything, Smido, doesn't he? He can fight, he can box, he gets the jab going from both hands. He should find a way of getting inside Ndongo, and he's not a small guy himself, Crawford. He does fight tall, he looks like a big dude.
I think this is going to be a test for Crawford, and certainly one that we've not seen him, come across before. Ndongo is big, awkward, long, rangy, will throw punches that aren't really in the coaching manual, He's not going to be worried or scared. He's won in Russia. He's won in Scotland in front of, Tommy Allen screaming at him. He ain't going to have no problem wherever this one is in Omaha. I don't think that Crawford is going to, have a puzzle to solve, definitely. He's Ricky Burns tried a few different things. I know he's, past his best now, but, he struggled badly. I think Crawford, at times, is going to certainly have a puzzle to prove and potentially have problems at times, but at the end of the day, he's going to find a way to solve that problem. He's going to have to, be cute on the inside. I think obviously it's difficult to beat Ndongo at long range. So I think Crawford switching it up, showing him angles, working the body and doing it inside. I think that's the way Crawford's going to go, to be honest.
Do you think he'll win on points, Smido? Or do you think there's a chance someone's going to be getting hurt here? Ndongo looks pretty solid in the old beard department.
Yeah, he certainly does look solid. I mean, as same as everyone really, I've not seen much of Ndongo other than the Burns and the Russian fight. But maybe Crawford can get him to the body. He does try and put a show on for his home fans. I see Crawford getting to him, but it probably will go the distance, to be fair. Because he poses such a difficult and awkward proposition that it's more likely to go to the points than before.
And you think sometimes home advantage, Smido, or bit fighting away could play a factor, but Ndongo's gone into the lion's den in his last couple of fights. He won't be afraid to travel, but the atmosphere is going to be amazing, you would imagine.
Oh yeah, they do put on a good show, but he's got absolutely no fear of what anyone can offer in Nebraska. He's been to wherever it was, Glasgow and Moscow. I mean, Nebraska is not really on their level, is it, to be honest?
And just before we get Hey to Dave in, Smido, what about the odds? You're a great man for the betting side of things.
Come back to me.
I see that arena he's fighting as it holds about 15,000 for boxing, actually. So if they can sell that out, that will be a good crowd. Like, they usually are quite raucous.
Yeah, I'd say it'd be a great one to be there.
Crawford's anything really between 1 to 9 and 1 to 16, so he's certainly well fancied. It's matchroom-esque really, but we can't argue for competitiveness when all the gold's on the line. I think is this the first time in like 10 or 15 years that it's happened? All 4 belts. Was it Kostya the last one? Am I got that wrong?
I was going to say Hopkins.
De La Hoya.
De La Hoya, right? I was going to say Taylor. That was wrong.
Because I think De La Hoya had the WBO one, didn't he?
Right.
That he stole off Felix Sturm on it.
Aye.
Yeah, I thought Stern won that one. Smido, I'm useless with betting. Where's the value at? What would you put your money on?
I'm just looking at method of victory now. I've not really looked at it at all. So Crawford's odds on for the knockout 4-7. So the value bet there, given what I've just said, I've got to go with value at 2-1 Crawford for the points.
2-1.
2-1 to win on points. Again, like we're saying, Dongo's big fella, looks solid as you like, but Crawford is that damn good. So I mean, it's a flip of the coin job whether it goes the distance or not for me. So 2-1, I'll take that.
Hey to Dave, you're going to be down obviously in Pennsylvania this weekend cheering on Eric Spring. No doubt it'll be a good atmosphere there for you. Are you tempted to make the trip up to Nebraska for this one, or are you staying at home?
Well, Nebraska's quite a ways. I'd say it's about 2 days drive, so not quite worth that. But I mean, the U.S. is a lot bigger than the U.K., guys. I would say this is a good fight. I'm kind of not super jazzed about it because I like both guys, and I do favor Crawford slightly. I mean, well, not slightly. I favor him pretty like 70% probably. Loses his belt. He is no longer. He becomes part of the Who Needs Him club because he's not a huge name. He does have some achievement. He does have some momentum going for him, but I kind of wanted Crawford to move up to 147 and leave 140 for Indongo, just because I wanted to see both guys do what they could do. And I think after this, I think Indongo's kind of might just fade into obscurity. We might never see him again, even if he continues fighting. So I hope he at least makes it respectable. I think he will. I think this might look a little bit like the post-Stoll fight, but with Indongo showing more aggression and possibly getting stopped in the 7th or 8th round. He could stop Crawford though. I mean, he is sort of an unknown. We don't know. It's tough. It's a tough fight to pick because Indongo, while he has beaten two probably pretty good guys, we've only seen him in those two fights really. I guess some people have looked up his African boxing record. I certainly haven't. But those guys themselves are sort of question marks. Troyanovsky, we don't really know what he's about yet. I mean, it was a stunning upset because they brought Indongo over as an opponent for him. He has since won a knockout victory since being splattered by Indongo. And then, of course, Burns. We don't really know where he is mentally, physically. To me, in the fight with Indongo, he looked pretty good physically. Mentally, he didn't seem there as much. So it's hard to rate the achievement. But if you assume that Burns was the same level that he was when Crawford beat him, which I don't think he was, then it's a very good win. I mean, that puts Indongo basically on Crawford's level. I don't think he actually is there, but we'll see. I think he is going to be outspeeded by Crawford significantly. I think that's going to be the main difference in this fight. Also out-volumed. Crawford's got great speed and combinations. And Indongo, he's not super slow, but he's slower than Crawford, and he's a little bit more deliberate in his pace, a little steadier. I think Crawford can be more unpredictable and possibly surprise him with something and stop him. But it's a good fight. I can't complain about the matchmaking too much other than my own personal bias and hoping the best for both guys.
Dave, you touched upon Indongo there. If he were to put up a good fight and lose, you could imagine he would pick up one of the belts whenever they splinter, whenever Crawford moves up, as we expect he will do, to 147. If he does move up, Dave, I mean, people are still talking about the Manny Pacquiao fight. I know Freddie Roach doesn't want that. Do you want to see something like 47 straight off the bat?
At this point, I kind of just want to see Pacquiao get the Horn rematch and retire. But if he were to fight on, then yeah, there's no point in not taking that Crawford fight, other than obviously he'd almost certainly lose it, I think. But as far as a boxing fan, it's a good thing to see that torch get passed. But at this rate, I mean, the torch has already kind of been passed to Jeff Horn if you go with the official judging. So Crawford may as well just go beat Horn, and then he'll be the man. But I think the real man at welterweight right now, I mean, there's not really a real man, but probably the number one, my number one, Errol Spence. So I would love to see that fight. Pacquiao, I think it's pretty well accepted by most fans, especially the hardcores, that his day is done. And he's not the man to beat at welterweight anymore. It's just it would be a big name, and it would be a big thing for Crawford to do just because of Pacquiao's star value. But otherwise, doesn't mean too much to me. I would much rather see the Spence fight.
Andy, I was thinking there about who defeated Ricky Burns in more impressive fashion between the two guys, but do you think the main factor is Indongo beat this version of Burns most recently, whereas Crawford beat him 8 fights ago?
I suppose, I mean, you could probably say that Ricky was probably nose far removed from his best fighting weight.
Slightly fresher as well.
That as well. But then again, you know, people just never really rated Burns. I mean, I remember when Burns won the super featherweight title, and that people just didn't rate him whatsoever, technically anyway. It's a shame because, you know, you see what the guy had done actually. You know, he was actually better than what people gave him credit for, punched harder than what people gave him credit for as well. He's just, I'm not saying he's meandering along now, but he is at that point in his career now that it's just about, you know, picking up, you know, a payday and just, you know, securing the thingy for the family. Steve, you mentioned a fighter there actually about moving up in weight. Who was it again? Was it Indongo?
No, I think Crawford will probably move up in weight, won't he, when he wins?
Well, I was just thinking about a possible opponent. I'd read the other day there about Matisse coming back. That'd be a decent enough fight for him, is it not?
Yeah, that'd be definitely a good first fight.
Matisse's back, isn't he?
Yeah, he's back with a vengeance, Tommy.
Smashed Emmanuel Taylor. Looked pretty good doing it.
Here's one for you, Andy. High in the WBO ratings, we know Bob Arum, like Frank Warren, likes a WBO belt. What about Bradley Skeet against Terence Crawford?
Holy shit.
Well, I mean,
undefeated record. Come on, first fight up at 147. Why not?
Well, that's one for the purists, isn't it?
It is one for the purists. I mean, I wish Bob Sugar was around there now actually to watch that fight. British, yeah, he's still British champion. I've been saying for years about Skeet. I wish he would just push him up to European level or whatever. And I really don't. I'm not a hater of Skeet. I can watch him. I can take it or leave it sometimes. I like the Eggington fight. That was a pretty good performance, but it's just there's nothing there. But no, Crawford against Skeet would be. It would be a chess match, but, you know, at the end of the day, Crawford stops him. He does. He stops him probably like mid rounds, I think.
Okay, what about you, Tommy? If Crawford were to move up at 147, who would you like to see him fight? Do you think the Pacquiao fight is done and dusted?
Aye, he's obviously got a rematch for him. Unless you can win that rematch, there's no chance of fighting Terence Crawford just now. It doesn't make any sense. Crawford moves up, I want to see him straight in with either Keith Furman or Errol Spence. That's his level. That's the guys he should be fighting. Maybe a Danny Garcia, but definitely the top guys in the division. Crawford can go up right now and be competitive. I've always said that he's not going to be tested until he goes up to welterweight. This is when. I was going to say this is when we'll find out how good he is. Obviously, we know he's good. We'll find out really how good he is. I think you'll go up there. There's fights he'll lose up there, but there's obviously top fighters and that he can beat as well. I'd favour Errol Spence over him at the moment. I think he could beat Keith Furman though. But this division is going to be spectacular in the next 12 to 18 months with the fights and that it can be made up there. Just hoping the fights can all be made in that. My guy Amir Khan's going to be back in the mix in that very soon too. He's back with the missus. Things are good.
What?
You know?
Is he back where?
Well, what did he tweet yesterday about to Joshua? I took that he was back where. Maybe he isn't he?
I thought he just basically accepted that, you know.
Right.
You know, that he hadn't trained or
right. I thought
he's reinstalled the fireplace again, Andy.
Well, I tell you what, if Joshua had been there by then, she bent down in front of the mirror and pulled her flaps back, you look at the fucking Predator's face.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I was saying that there's a lot of good fights that could be made in that division the next 12 to 18 months. I want to see Crawford right in that mix, right against the top guys straight away. He's good enough to fight with them, obviously.
Smido, I'm going to give you a better question. Indongo down at super lightweight. Once Crawford buggers off, as we expect him to, there's not a hell of a lot going on, judging by the Fight News rankings. We've got guys like Amir Imam, Rancis Bartholomew, Relic, who lost to Burns, Sergei Lipinets, who's a bit of an unknown quantity, Morris Hooker, who is complete and utter shit, Sorotka, who I think beat Robbie Davis Jr., Regis Prograis, Bona. What about that, Smido? He's hanging around. You can sense a 5th or 6th world title win for him, couldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I agree with Dave. I think when Ndongo loses this fight, he's done. No one wants him. He might be cheap, but he ain't easy. And that's a big problem that he's got. Obviously, Mikey Garcia will be the new boy in that division when Crawford sods off. They're all winnable fights. What you list for Ndongo, Mr. Steve, but who's going to need him? Who is going to need that fella? He's difficult. It'll be a toughish sell, both sides of the Atlantic. He's difficult to knock out. You know, it's going to be tough where he goes. To be honest, he'll probably be going back to the prison canteen. To be fair.
Did Mike was Mike in what just for the one fight? Is he going to move back down again?
Not sure, to be honest.
He did. I think he did say that. Actually, he only moved up for he said I think he said when he went in the ring he weighed 146 pounds, so he didn't rehydrate much.
Yeah. For Crawford up at welter, who is on his side of the TV divide? What side of the divide does Errol Spence fall on?
Well, it's a bit better over in America now.
That's what
they're making the fights and that now. Adam's worked with Oscar, he's worked with Al Heyman, blah blah blah. They're all kind of working together, so there's long to continue.
Spence no be Showtime, and Showtime are spending a lot of money on boxing at the minute. So.
PBC.
Yep.
I can, what about someone as daft as Lamont Peterson?
Isn't he PBC as well?
I know, but he's not a priority, is he? That's what I'm,
But this is what I'm saying. This is the reason. I don't know if Matisse is still with Golden Boy. As I say, I know.
I don't think he is. Is he?
Yeah.
Steve, I don't
know if that's a pedo Carlos Molina going about there at welterweight as well.
Oh, I mixed them two up. I don't know. Jesse Vargas, maybe, Smido. What about the bit of Jesse Vargas?
It's possible. I want you. I don't know if you're on BoxRec, but they're number 13th ranked welterweight. I want you to be able to pronounce his name, please, Mr. Wellings.
Is that Quadratio Abdugaharov?
Yes. How did you know that?
I'm a big fan of him. He's pretty good.
The Punisher is 23-year-old from Uzbekistan, the Punisher, and Steve just got his name straight off the bat.
What's his name? Abdukarakov.
Quadratio Abdugaharov.
He's got an X in his name.
He knocked out that Charles Manucci. That was a guy that beat who was it? I went to Russia and he won a fight there, and he got knocked out. Like I think he was fucking about or something, and got caught by a shot in the first round, and got fucking iced. I'm
making a ruling right now, right? If this guy turns out any good, I only want to see him called Abdu on forums, social media, or talking on podcasts, because I ain't fucking pronouncing that name, man.
There's a few beasts at this, isn't there? What about Edgus Kavaliauskas as well, and Konstantin Ponomarov?
Abdu Kasharov. I'll need to practice that, man. What was the other one, Steve?
Ponomarov, the Russian.
Ponomarov. It's not too bad. There's Zhankov Turarov as well.
Kerman, is it Leherjera? Pronounce that one, Steve?
Who's that? Oh, Leharaga.
Oh, he's even got the wee kind of... What's that guy? Bernardo Staves, that's who his name is. They speak that wee kind of shitty Spanish bit at the back of it. Jesus Christ.
I'll tell you what, he's been around for a long time. They were just talking about Matisse. He was a bastard to spell when he fucking first burst on the scene. That was a tongue twister too, wasn't it?
You can tell it's a quiet week, can't you? Right, let's go through the guys then and see who's picking who. First of all, Tommy, what's the method of victory for Crawford and Ndongo?
I've got a funny, sneaky feeling. Just the way you looked in that last fight, if he'd have stepped on the gas, I think he steps on the gas big time in this fight, making a statement. He's going to get the stoppage. Crawford by stoppage, late, 9-10 rounds. Okay,
Andy, what about you?
Crawford wide points for me, like 118, 110. I think he'll probably find it a wee bit difficult early doors. Because I think Ndongo's really awkward. I just think, I don't know if he's going to do the switch or he might just stick southpaw or whatever. I actually wish he would maybe just stick to the one stance next. I think sometimes when he goes southpaw, he starts getting tagged a wee bit, eh? So I think you might see him sticking maybe orthodox in this fight. It'll take a wee bit to kind of figure it out, but he wins all the rounds basically.
Okay, Hater Dave, what do you think? Who's going to win, and method of victory?
Final pick, Crawford, 8 or 9 rounds, TKO.
Okay, and what about you, Smid?
I think Crawford wins 9 rounds to 3.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Crawford, unanimous decision. 2 cards of 117, 111, and 1 card of 118, 110. Joining us on the line, Big Dominic Henry's jumped on. He wants to talk pound for pound, but we might as well get him in on Crawford Indongo. What's your gut feeling, Dominic?
Well, I'm not that big, Steve, I have to say, and I do need to lose a bit of weight, like, but
you can sweat it off. You can sweat it off.
That's true, actually. I can vouch for it.
No, I think I'll go Crawford points. Maybe not a landslide, but maybe it's like 8 rounds to 4, something like that.
Do you think Big Indongo will cause him a few problems, though?
I think he might. I think he just by virtue of his sheer, like, he is a big spidery geezer, isn't he? Like, he's really long and he is a big guy. Maybe just because of his length and that, he might cause him problems that previous opponents of Crawford haven't been able to. But I think Crawford just strikes me as one of those guys. You know, he seems to. You just look at him, although he hasn't had to do this in a fight yet. You think if he was forced to adapt in a fight and improvise, he just strikes you as the sort of guy that could do it.
Right, Dominic, I'll bring Big Rob Kelly in now. If you want to mute yourself, I know that you've got a lot of prepping up to do for the pound for pound. Dominic's got Amir Khan on the list. I'm not quite sure how he's going to justify that one, but we'll wait and see. Right, Rob, it's great to have you on. Tell me about Crawford and Indongo.
Yeah, I think it'd be a kind of an awkward fight, awkward night, an ugly fight. I don't think it's going to be the kind of fight that's going to endear Crawford to the masses as he probably deserves. I think it's just going to be a kind of a one of those performances where you got to grit it out. Maybe not, have a bit of wrestling, have a bit of kind of rabbit punching and all that. I think it's just going to be. I do agree with what's been said about Crawford, though. I think sometimes when he's up against it, you bring out the nasty side of him, and you might see the best. So hopefully it becomes a bit of a back and forth and a few nasty exchanges and all that, like so. But I'd expect Crawford to get the job done, probably by points. I don't really see him stopping him, although he comes up with the surprise stoppages sometimes. Crawford really breaks guys down, so we'll see. I think Indongo's tough enough. Like, I think he'll be there for the 12 rounds, but I think Crawford with the W for sure.
Excellent stuff, and thanks for coming on, Rob. I know that you couldn't come from the start, and so our female listeners were demanding you, so thanks for jumping on.
Well, you know what I mean? I don't want to break any hearts, so I'm just laying it out for you to play it out, baby.
Rob Kelly there, everybody, at Rob H. Kelly on Twitter. Right, what have you got? The undercard. First fight, Alexander Gvozdyk, Andy. I don't know if you know anything about his opponent. This, what is he called? Craig Baker, 17-0, 13 knockouts. He is, I'm just looking down his record, actually. No real noticeable names. The only noticeable name that he's ever fought was Edwin Rodriguez, and he got sparked in the 3rd round. If you're not very good in the chin department, that doesn't bode well against someone like Gvozdyk, does it?
Nah, it's going to be an early one, I think, this one, mate. I've not seen this guy. I barely even remember that Rodriguez fight. I don't even know what card that was on, actually. Give me just a quick check to see what one it was on. To Gail Darrell. I can't remember that one at all, but you would think, one guy that I always like to watch is Gvozdyk, heavy hitter and that, so I do expect them to kind of get this one done pretty quick.
What do you think, Tommy Gvozdyk? He's flying up the rankings. He's on the tail of Adonis Stevenson for the WBC. Maybe a Andre Ward fight, possible fight with Kovalev. He's in the Who Needs Him club, isn't he? He's got to work his way up the rankings, you'd think.
Definitely, but he's doing that knockout by knockout. You seen what Sergey Kovalev done when he was coming up in that. There was no big backing for him, but he made his sale into a star just by knocking people out, and he's going the same way, isn't he? He just needs to keep doing what he's doing, turning in impressive performances, and then he'll get there.
Smido, I know you're a big fan of Gvozdyk's. Good wins over Gonzalez, over Isaac Chilemba. He made him retire. Not many people do that. A bit of an anomaly on the record whenever he fought Tommy Carpensi. I would like to see Gvozdyk against Beterbiev, something like that, Smido. That'd be a bit of a bloodbath, wouldn't it?
I want to see him dethrone Adonis from his high pound for pound position. That's the way forward for whatever his bloody name is, Grozovnik.
That fucker's on the good stuff, man. I'm telling you, he's 40-year-old and he's faster now than he's ever been. That Stevenson, he looks spectacular the last time against Fanfara.
He's on the fucking gear, that one.
Faster and faster and faster, man. He's a handful of new links.
Hey to Dave. Brian King labelled you a bald spastic casual this week on Twitter, I think it was, or Facebook. You're going to prove him wrong and tell me the ins and outs of this Gvozdyk-Craig Baker fight, aren't you?
That, I believe, was due to my criticism over Vasyl Lomachenko last week.
Don't shit on people's heroes, mate.
I guess not. I don't know anything about Craig Baker, so I guess I am a casual. I don't know about this ATG Baker guy who's coming in here to upset the apple cart. But no, I expect Gvozdyk to win. I don't think they would probably deliberately blunt his momentum now, although these guys that are a lot of times when you have tough but sort of unnamed guys without too much drawing power coming up, you see them have to fight each other. Like sort of his mirror would be Dmitry Bivol, right? I think those two guys might fight each other before they get any big fights, just to sort of narrow the playing field a little bit. We see that kind of thing with a lot of times foreign guys who don't have much of a name, or they're not great on the mic or whatever. I remember it with like Lucas Matisse and Jose Alasegun. I mean, that guy turned out to be burned out when he finally did get his chances anyway. But two tough guys that were sort of unknowns, and they made them fight each other. Same thing with Mchuno and Makabu when they had to fight. It was a very obscure. I thought it was a fight between some of the two best guys at cruiserweight, at least in the top 5 at the time, and they ended up having to fight in this sort of obscure. Was it? I don't know where they fought. Was it Africa?
But I think we had to wait about 8 months to get a copy of the fight. Remember?
Yeah. Nobody could see it. No one could watch it live for sure, and so no one knew what the hell happened. But I think it was a good fight.
Africa's hardly obscure, Dave.
It's not obscure. It was obscure for us because we couldn't see it. Like
Dave with the map. Where's Africa? What?
Oh, Africa's my favorite country.
Remember Bernard Hawkins got asked if he'd ever fight in Australia. She's nada, what to fight in Europe.
At least you can say he's got brain damage.
What's your excuse, Dave?
No, I did not say Africa's obscure. I mean,
he's a bald casual.
You just called it a country. You bald plastic casual.
Yeah, that's a common joke in America, calling Africa a country, because there's so many stupid people who think of it. Anyway, we were talking about this Craig Baker, the prospects of Gvozdyk. Yeah, I would like to see him move up as quickly as possible in competition. So this is kind of a time waster, unless Craig Baker shows up and turns out to be something special. His record does not indicate that he will. But I'd like to see that Bivol-Gvozdyk fight as soon as possible, narrow the playing field, and get the next guy onto Stevenson. It's time to get that.
Bivol's fighting the winner of Cleverly Jack, as you know. I think that's been mandated, or it's for that fight to happen. For that fight to happen,
Bivol's Cleverly's mandatory.
Bivol has a WBA trinket, doesn't he? I think.
Yeah,
but I think
champion.
But for this fight to happen between Cleverly and Jack, the winner must fight fucking Bivol next.
What? Who has a belt? Cleverly has a belt.
Cleverly's got the regular. Ward's got the super title.
Oh wait, yeah, he took it off. The
Bramer.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I forgot Cleverly did anything after losing to Fanfara.
Ward Cleve and mark my words, Badu Jack's getting it.
I think that's a tough fight for Jack because of the styles.
It's a good fight. Like, I actually looking forward to that one.
Jack's gonna beat him, I think.
He probably will beat him. Actually, I just think he's different level of drugs, I suppose. So I'm joking, but that wouldn't surprise me. But no,
it's going to be hard for Nathan to get a decision, isn't it?
I just think Jack's not really cutting as much weight now, so he's going to be more comfortable at the weight. Whereas Cleverly's been a light heavy for the vast majority of his career now, so you just don't know how he's making that weight now. So I think Jack might be slightly more comfortable.
Well, when Cleverly moved up to cruiserweight, we knew it was just an excuse.
He was a mess at cruiserweight, didn't he? Didn't even shoot it up there.
4 rounds and he was breathing out his ass, and that's not Nathan Cleverly. Nathan Cleverly's like the Energizer Bunny, isn't he?
Aye. Especially the early half of his career in a way, man. He was just constant volume every round.
I think Nathan's tremendous, man. Skills. He should have.
If he had a different trainer, he could have been something, I think.
What we see, that was a problem, Dave. Well, there's a question. How do you rate Enzo Calzaghe as a trainer? Because
I think he's underrated. I
think he did well, yeah.
Yeah, because at the time he had that gym, they're all full of champions. They're British, world, maybe Commonwealth champ, Bradley Price, Big Enzo, Joe obviously. Was we Barry Jones there? Gavin Rees, sorry, he was there, aye.
Gary Lockhart as well.
I think Enzo's trained 6 or 7 fighters full time. 4 of them have been world champions within about a 30-40 mile radius.
And I remember.
I think that's an unbelievable achievement.
I can actually remember Cleverly's comments actually when he broke away from Calzaghe, because he says that he was looking after his career. I think it was
obviously with Frank Warren, we had the problems in court, didn't he?
Aye, a bit of shame actually. So because his dad was fucking hopeless.
Aye.
Right, Rob Kelly, you can always tell how good a fight is whenever we end up talking about something else. So we'll leave Gvozdyk against Craig Baker, I think, and move on to Nicholas Walters against Arturo Reyes. You've been waiting for the return of Nicholas Walters. Rob, it's finally here.
I've been waiting for the return of who? Sorry, I was trying to do my Craig Baker.
Nicholas Walters, he's back.
The X-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy to see the X-Man back. Good fighter. I actually felt bad for him in the Lomachenko fight. Like, he's just
he fucking quit.
Yeah, I know, but I felt like he just could do nothing with him. Like, he was like, here, let's get out of here.
It's going to be interesting to see how he looks in this fight, like if he's going to be confident looking around like that.
Well, he was off a long time, wasn't he, before the Lomachenko fight? Like, I think he's definitely... I don't think he could have done... It's just, I think if he fought Lomachenko 100 times, he loses 100 times. It's one of those ones, like, isn't it? But I'm interested to see him come back and kind of restart his career. He was definitely exciting to watch when he had the kind of physical edge on guys and he was chopping people down. So I like watching him, definitely.
Rob, rate the quit in order of quitability. Nicholas Walters, Kell Brook, O'Hara Davis, Roberto Duran.
Oh, I don't like putting Duran in the list, man.
Well done, Rob. You're a legend.
Can we add Cotto instead of Duran?
Yes.
Yeah, like, I mean, look, Duran redeemed himself a million times over in his career. Like, to go on and knock out Iron Baki, even like in the later stages, absolute legend. Like, and he doesn't deserve to be mentioned in O'Hara Davies and the same. So you're getting a belly of the week for that, Steve.
I only did that for badness, and I waited to see how long Andy's little microphone disappeared.
He's on a wind up tonight, Steve.
Yeah, he's an evil bastard.
No, I think O'Hara's quit was blatant. Like, it was probably the worst one I've seen in a while. Like, wasn't it? It was just he was like looking for an excuse of what kind of injury he was going to use. Even like you could see his brain taking over. Like, is it my eye? Is it the eye socket? What have I done here? No.
2 noses. Oh.
Yeah, his 2 noses. Yeah,
his nostrils.
That was a bad one. Like, yeah.
Oh, he was like thinking to himself, the eye socket. Oh no, Brook did that one a couple of weeks. Can't do that one. Like
with Walters and them, like you can see it's a quit out of frustration. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, I can't touch this guy. I'm getting embarrassed here. Like, what's the point in finishing this fight? I want out, which is kind of not the right attitude either. But the other quit is when you get hit and you want out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think there's a big difference between quitting and that. See, when I look at Roberto Duran, I think he was getting embarrassed in the ring. He was pissed off with Leonard and he just said, fuck it. I think it's different for a fighter, it's getting beat up and he just doesn't want any merit. He's in tough. You know, that's not what happened with Duran.
At the time, like, I think it was the US writers really that crucified Duran. A lot of the boxing world forgave him because they knew kind of what the situation was in the rematch. A lot of people were kind of, you know what I mean? It was really the US writers that caned him at the time.
Fuck it, you got shown in jail when he went back into Panama.
Yeah.
Fucking threw him in jail, did.
For quitting.
Look, Duran is a living legend. Like, so
a lot of money was lost on that fight in Panama. Eh?
Yeah,
they put him in jail and that. He started kicking up a fuck apparently.
Good job. He's not from Colombia. He went.
He got whacked, shot. I remember that fullback.
Apparently, the sergeant had to phone his gaffer and say, "Look, listen, we need to release him because if we can't calm him down, we'll need to fucking shoot him." He got released the photo.
You'd love to be the officer. Excuse me, Roberto. We have to bring you to the cell to talk to you.
Go on, Dave.
Also lucky he wasn't from Venezuela. You saw how that ends for fighters who lose it.
Yeah. True.
Big Hugo Chavez sorted him out, eh?
Lucky he ain't from fucking Charlottesville.
Topical. Right.
You got anything else to add, Rob, before we move on?
No, we can move on.
Right, Dominic, we thought that Dillian White was going to be on the card. It turns out he is on the card. It was going to be against Michael Grant, who was dug up out of a cemetery, but instead they found out Michael Grant's plot partner, Malcolm Tan. Now, I'm a bit of a sado, Dominic. Malcolm Tan, I remember him the first time round, losing to Chris Arreola and Alexander Dimitrenko on the way up. He hasn't fought. He had a layoff, from 2007 to 2016. Then he came back and got knocked out in the 4th round by Sergei Kuzmin. So he's coming off a loss. This is perfect preparation for the Dillian White fight. What a great opponent, Malcolm Tan.
Hashtag world level.
If his boxing nickname is not Wham Bam, I leave it so.
Oh, Dominic, I didn't even have to crucify him. I'm just using facts. I'm not saying anything.
No, his nickname is the Showstopper.
I think White is you sort of, when this sort of opponent gets picked, you think about it and you think, is this Eddie Hearn behind this, or is it the people who are making the decisions for White, or is it White himself? I mean, is Mark Tibbs, is he that sort of bad that he would pick this sort of this dross as an opponent? But I mean, who's White being lined up to fight? Is he being lined up to fight Wilder, or I mean, Hearn wants him to fight Wilder, doesn't he?
Yes, I think it's Wilder, isn't it, Dominic?
But I mean, like I'm not. I think, you know, White is a complete. I think he's awful. I mean, I remember that fight in Glasgow when he fought Guy Lewison. I don't know what on. I think it was a Ricky Burns card, and you know, you could see, you know, he was throwing the right hand, the overhand right, and you know, it was landing. You could see it was landing in Edinburgh. You know, he's the guy's just. He's so overrated. He's making a reputation of one left hook against Joshua when Joshua was fighting with his heart, not with his head. You know, if he fought Joshua again, I mean, I haven't been, as I say, I'm just back from holiday. I haven't seen what's been going on, but I just saw one of the headlines on the Eiffel videos, White saying a fight with Joshua, a rematch would be different. It wouldn't. Well, actually, it would be different. The reason it would be different is because Joshua would take him out in 3 or 4 rounds with minimal fuss. White is so far removed from world level. It's you know, he's awful. He's ranked bad.
Heavy stuff, hey, to Dave. Tell me this: if Dillian White were to fight Deontay Wilder, where does he rank on Wilder's opposition? I mean, is he better? Is he worse than the previous stiffs Wilder's been in with?
That's got to be like his, at worst, 3rd best win. Like
his best win's Povetkin, and that was done in the flipping drug table.
Yeah, he's probably got. I mean, Stavern, pretty bad. Maybe his best win though. Spilka, I don't know. It's kind of a toss up between him and White, in my opinion. I guess White's better. So maybe White's his 2nd best win, if that happens.
Yes, definitely.
I'm at the stage where I don't really mean to be like caning Dillian White too much, like, because he has made something for himself and made a few quid. But I'm at the stage where I'd rather watch a 40-minute Eiffel interview with him than one of his fights. I mean, what's the point of this fight? Like, come on, Michael Tan, come on, like, he sounds like one of the bad guys from Miami Vice. We gotta go get Michael Tan, you know.
He needs to fight Chisora. He needs to take that rematch. I mean, everyone wants to see that fight again. It was surprisingly everyone. You know, I remember the lead up to that fight where everyone was predicting it was going to be an absolute horror show, and you know, I remember, you know, it turned into a really, really good fight, and they need to have that fight again.
He's wanting £1 million for a rematch, so that just translates to I don't want it.
Yeah, that's pretty. He's just pricing himself out.
They're talking about the rematch, Smido, happening on the Joshua Pulev undercard, I think, with Chisora, providing White gets past big Malcolm Tan first.
See that stuff he's demanding £1 million. That really bothers me.
Yes.
This guy done it in the sport to get close to a 7-figure fucking payday.
When you
I can't see it.
Lomachenko got $750 for last week, and he's Lomachenko. You know what I mean?
Exactly, man.
No, I can't see it happening. I think that Dillian White just is demanding too much. I just can't see it happening. His best win was against Chisora, and that was just like, you know, it was entertaining, but the quality wasn't there, was it? It was just like 2 big old whales going at each other. He didn't even make easy work of Dave Allen, who wasn't training at the time.
You see, the thing is, with things like this, Smiddle, Eddie Hearn, what he has to do is, he has to be, I think Eddie Hearn, he knows that the Chisora fight should happen. That's the fight that should happen.
Yeah.
But he needs to be like Bob Arum. He needs to be like what Bob Arum did with Nicholas Walters before he fought Lomachenko. He refused to fight him, and he just left him on the shelf. And he said, right, you do what you want to do. And he was still under contract. And that's what Hearn needs to do with Dillian Whyte. He just needs to say, right, you can keep fighting these absolute cons until you grow a set, or until you stop trying to price yourself out of the fight, and then get the fight on.
But I think Hearn is mapping it out, like, isn't he? He has the two mandatories lined up for Joshua, and then he wants the winner of Wilder versus Whyte. You know what I mean? So it's a win-win for him. If he gets the Wilder fight, it's a big pay-per-view fight. If Whyte manages to beat Wilder somehow, then it's automatic, easy money, isn't it? Two mandatories for AJ, and then a Whyte fight, which is another clear win, and to keep the money train rolling even longer.
But is Wilder really going to want to actually fight Dillian Whyte? Like, Dillian Whyte's going to
fight down. Yeah.
No, but I just don't.
Eddie's a grass. Eddie's a grass.
Wilder ain't coming over here, right? So Dillian Whyte's going to have to go over there. I think the American they've got more shit that they've already been dealing Deontay Wilder. They've got a bit more of that to give him. I honestly can't see the Wilder fight happening anytime soon for Dillian Whyte.
But the thing is, Smitho, if the Whyte fight happens or not, the WBC are pushing Steve Hearn in as well. Why are the WBC letting him get away with one of the worst title reigns in WBC boxing history at heavyweight?
I don't quite know, because it's not all that active. It's not a massive star in America. I don't quite see what the WBC are getting out of it. They'll get more out of it if they sent the belt towards London. That is for sure.
I don't usually watch the videos, Smitho, but I did see a bit of the IFL. Dillian Whyte said he's one of the 5 fighters in the UK that are pay-per-view worthy on Sky.
Well, I didn't watch that, to be honest, but Dillian Whyte seems, as has already been mentioned, he's landed one left hook, he's kicked off with Chisora, and he does an iFilm video every month. And Eddie seems to like him. Other than that, what else has he done with his life?
Well,
go on, Dave. What else?
Malcolm Tan. So that's going to be his biggest achievement. Well, he also appeared on the Nuthouse, which that's bigger than anything Joshua's ever done. But I just wanted to mention that I don't know who's managing Malcolm Tan, but he's already scheduled. He's meant to be fighting Dillian Whyte next week. He's already scheduled for a big appearance against TBA at the Emerald Coast Conference Center at Fort Walton Beach. 3 months later.
The triads.
Who have we got? Tommy, talking of shit heavyweights, Bryant Jennings is on this card in an 8-rounder against Daniel Martz. Apparently, if Bryant Jennings beats Mr. Martz, he is being lined up to fight Joseph Parker, provided that Joseph Parker beats Hughie Fury. What do you think about that, Guru? Tommy, show some enthusiasm, please. Tommy's not very enthusiastic. What do you think about that, Andy? Bryant Jennings against Joseph Parker, if Parker gets past Hughie Fury?
Well, we're still kind of wondering if that fight's ever going to happen anyway. But, well, my question to you would be, Steve, is he had 2 fights in 2015, lost both of them. One was for the heavyweight title, one was for an interim title. He got knocked out of Ortiz. He's now having an 8-rounder, and he's going to get the frog match right into our world title fight.
Do you know why, Andy?
Even Eddie Hearn could pull that shit off.
WBO. It's a WBO, innit? Rules go out the window. It's not a real world title.
Fourth tier world title, I know, but Parker, as I say, I've been watching a wee bit of him actually recently. Watching his earlier career and that, but yeah, he's going to have a wee bit too much for Bryant Jennings. I still see that as a distance fight for Parker, actually, unless he's really improved dramatically over the last 6 months and that, because he wasn't really impressive against that. Was it that Romanian guy that he fought, his sparring partner or whatever it was? That was fucking awful to watch that fight, but
yeah.
It was AIDS. But no, I think that this fight, I've no idea who he's fighting. It's a load of bullshit if it's a world title fight off the back of it. Same goes with David Haig. So some people kind of question if Parker beats Fury, there's maybe moves going on in the background about, hey, maybe fighting Parker or whatever and that, but I can't see that happen for similar reasons as to why I don't think Bryant Jennings should be getting the fight. He's not deserving of the so-called world title, but, it is what it is. If we get, Parker beating Hughie, I one fight I would probably want to see Parker in, if it's possible, would be, well, again, it depends what's going to happen with Joshua and Pulev. Is that a fight signed, Joshua and Pulev, aye?
Yeah.
Yeah, as good as you.
Good as, right, okay, so there's no point in seeing that
Well,
fight.
the WBA did cause a rumble there by mandating Ortiz, but I think it'll be Pulev.
Well, I did see that Povetkin was going down the WBO route, so, maybe either Parker against him or Big Dom as well.
Well, when Parker beats Hughie Fury, if that fight is to take place, he's going to be a very popular man because he's proven, that he's willing to travel. He's going to have the British exposure. White will be after him. Joshua, Povetkin, Wilder, David A. All sorts of people will be after him.
See, the thing with Parker is, I would actually expect Parker to be fighting abroad. I don't think we'll see him fight again in New Zealand because he's at Duco events. I think there's been a split between the two owners there, or the two founders, or whatever. And
he's going the Bob Arum route, Andy. That's where I think he's going to be in America next year.
Possibly then, mate, because I remember Parker signing him up before he fought Ruiz. So that's you're probably right there, but because as it says, Duco are away like begging for money for like the government and that to host these fights in New Zealand, and I remember there's the tourist board and whatever the country these like Samoa, I think it was when he fought Bergman in Samoa, and that they had to get the tourist board to give them money to fund that fight. So it's going to be near impossible for to get big names for him in New Zealand unless it's going to be pay-per-view and there's like big financial backing for it. So it's not going to happen. He's going to have to fight USA Steve in America.
I'm just looking over next week's card. It's really a matchroom special, aside from the good main event. I mean, if it's stacked with names, but they're all against less than stellar opposition. It would be pay-per-view if in Eddie's hands. It's got tons of names on it.
It's on ESPN, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, it's free, so it's actually a good card for us for free TV.
Tommy, just finally with you, Andy mentioned Alexander Povetkin there. Whenever I think of Povetkin, I used to like Povetkin. I thought he was a decent fighter, but now I just think to myself, Povetkin, cheating cunt, not interested in watching you anymore. He's just gone off my radar completely with all this drug stuff.
I'm pretty much in the same boat as you, mate. I've kind of lost interest in him, and it's a shame because, like you say, he is a really good fighter. Needs to get back in the ring, needs to get clean, needs to pick up some wins. He's getting on a bit now. He's 37, 38 now, isn't he? So
seemed an age ago, didn't it, Tommy, since he won that gold medal at the Olympics?
It does, mate. And it's a shame that he didn't have his sail in good shape for his career. So
see, that was the thing I was going to say as well. Was there no rumours, just when you mentioned that he'd not been in shape and all that stuff, was there no rumours going about he was actually doing unlicensed fights for the mafia and that?
Apparently in the Russian mafia and that, he's going into big barns and fucking fighting tough guy competitions and that, taking on like 5 and 6 guys in one night in that, man. Oh man, there's some stories about the guy, but he was a real talent. It's just a shame to see what's happened to him.
Right, okay, final bits and pieces of the weekend. Nothing of major interest. Over in Canada, we've got Sammy Vargas against Ali Funeka, who continues to plod along. Oh, what about this, Andy? Sean Dodd is sneaking a fighting against Antonio Horvatic.
Masher Dodd, the British champion.
He's fighting Stalker in 6 weeks, isn't he? I wonder why they've got this little fight in Tranmere Rovers FC in Prenton Park, it is.
Eddie likes to let them get out and feel the lights on them and that, and he said in the past in a wee cheeky 6-rounder.
And finally, as well, down in Dallas, Texas, Maurice Hooker is fighting against Courtney Jackson. Jackson's 17-0, Hooker's 22-0-3. Hooker, was it Daralis Perez he fought against, and he looked absolutely shit.
Rob, that was at the fight. It was on the Kovalev and Ward undercard, the first fight. I think he kicked his ass, didn't he, Perez?
He certainly did. Right, let's move on to the pound for pound thing. Just a clarification, a bit of housekeeping as well. I know a few people last week were saying about the sound. People were louder than others. It seems that Hangouts, whenever they got rid of our favourite old app, the little round of applause and the time clock and all that, they seem to have messed up the sound controls app. So all the people don't appear down the side now, so I can't turn people up and down. So sorry if you're not hearing anybody or if somebody's too loud. I am working on it, but there's frig all I can do. So thank you to everybody on that score. Right, who've we got? Big Rob Kelly's jumping.
Steve. Don't apologise to the cunts. They get this for fuck all.
Well, okay. Apology rescinded. Rob Kelly.
If you're going to start paying for stuff and that, then we'll take your apologies on, take your complaints and stuff. No problem. We'll get a PR department, all that sort of shit. Great.
If you're not happy, we'll just banish you to the next big pod, and you don't want that. You don't want that in
The
your
levels
life.
are not the same. Oh, can we make the levels the same? Shut up, like, stop complaining.
Rob, I'm doing a service to the fans, man. We're men of the people here, aren't we?
I'm only joking.
Right, Rob, forget about all that. Hopefully everybody can hear you. Pound for pound, top 10, top 5, top 50, whatever you want. Hit us with yours, man. I know it's going to be a good
Top
one.
10. I want to hear your top 10 because I want to hear you all struggle like fuck when you get to like number 6, 7, and 8 and all that sort of shit.
I've got mine.
Actually, my 10 is fine. In at number 10, Fariel Khan. Straight in at number 10. She's jumped up several weight classes from 140 to 200 pounds. No, on a serious note, number 10, it has to be reluctantly AJ for me. Klitschko would have been on my top 10 pound for pound list had he still been active. And AJ's beat him regardless. He's come through with the knockout, come through adversity in the fight. Looked terrible at times, but he got the job done. So he's the heavyweight champion at the moment. This would change, by the way, if Fury was active, but he's not. But so I've got AJ in at number 10, controversial. Number 9, I've got Jorge Linares. I think he's had like 45 fights now, 46 fights or something. Overcome adversity earlier in his career to go on and be one of the universally recognized best fighters in the world. So I got Linares in there at number 9. Number 8, I'm reluctant about this one too, but I'm a big fan of the guy early in his career, and I think it's more to do with the way Oscar's managed him over the last while. But they've been maneuvering him towards this fight. I did not like the WBC situation before, where he relinquished the belt. I did not like this last Chavez fight, but we are getting the Golovkin fight, and he has proved that he's wanted to fight anybody in the past. So we got Canelo in at number 8, off his skill set alone, and his resume looks great at the moment, regardless of whether you think he won the Lara fight or not, or the Trout fight. He's got Austin Trout, Cotto, Lara, Angulo, Chavez. So he's got some big names on his record, and he's fought absolutely everybody. So we have Canelo in there at number 8. Number 7, Mikey Garcia. I know he's off a long period of inactivity, but he's come back and looked like he hasn't lost a step, and looks like he's capable of beating anyone in the world, and probably the only guy that can give Lomachenko a scrap at the moment. So I'm Mikey Garcia in there. Number 6, then I've got Triple G. Normally for me, preference on pound for pound is guys who've won titles at different weight classes, but just off the length of his defenses and just beating everybody that's in front of him, I've got Triple G in there. And number 6. Number 5, this guy should be higher if he could get the fights that he deserves. He's in an awful position that he's too big for Chocolatito, and he's not big enough for Lomachenko. But I've got Rigo in there, even though he hasn't been hugely active over the last 2 years. I've got Rigo in there because he's back active at the moment. And number 4, Chocolatito. You could argue that the guy that beat him should be higher than him in the pound for pound ranks. Haven't beaten him, but just from his career and his last few fights, and just we're seeing at the end of him at the moment, but still one of the most talented and entertaining fighters in the business. So I got Chocolatito, number 4. Number 3 could possibly be higher as well if his resume was a little bit longer, but obviously he's just turned pro. So we've got Lomachenko in there just as on ability, just the things that he's able to do in the ring. I know it sounded like I was criticizing him for fighting Mariaga, but I think he's an absolutely unbelievable talent, and a real spectacle. So and he's becoming more popular with casuals. I was down in one of my mates' gaffs yesterday, and they were mentioning that Lomachenko looks like he's from the future. So everybody's kind of watching his videos. His stuff is going viral, and I think that's good for the sport. So Lomachenko in at number 3. Number 2, Badman Terence Crawford. We spoke about him earlier. I think he's answered all the questions that have been asked of him so far. Just on his resume, maybe. I think he deserves to be there, and on talent. And number 1, none other than SOG, Andre Ward, who made Kovalev quit in the last fight. Beat Kovalev twice, definitively wiped out the 168 division, and was able to have a rest in the middle as well. So all right, that's my top 10.
Thank you, Robert. Anybody want to make any brief comments before we move on?
Surprised Rigo's still on your list there, mate. Really surprised. I've been seeing it. I've been seeing it but and I'm surprised AJ got on there so quick as well with just that 1 win.
I was struggling for a top 10, to be honest, which I had 5 ready there, like with about 5 minutes to go. You know what I mean? But no, but Rigo, to me, maybe it's just bias or whatever. But I just on his ability and that he's active and he holds a world title, I think he's one of the best in the biz. You know what I mean? So,
Tommy, did you want to say something?
No, I was just getting ready to give him a list, but if you're going to go to somebody else first, or I don't know.
Hey to Dave, final comment, and then I'll read a couple of the listeners' lists out.
Fuck Canelo.
Fuck Canelo. Short and sweet from Hey to Dave there. Right, we've had a couple in from our esteemed listeners. Paul Smith's Tits has sent his in on Twitter. He's got his brother Callum Smith in at number 10, Canelo at 9, Yamanaka at 8, Manny Pacquiao at 7, Crawford at 6, Triple G at 5, Rigo at 4, Chocolatito at 3, Lomachenko at 2, and Andre Ward at 1. We've also had one in from Mr. Boxing Fan 236 on Twitter. He's given us a top 9. He's got Rigo at 9, Triple G at 8, Canelo at 7, Leo Santa Cruz at 6, Mikey Garcia at 5, Chocolatito Gonzalez at 4, Lomachenko 3, Crawford 2, and Andre Ward at number 1. Hit us, Tommy.
Right, as everyone would expect, I've done this properly. At number 10, I've got Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia is a fighter that's back on the way up. He was on the way up years ago. He had a long layoff, and that's the only reason that he's no higher on my list is because he's layoff. He's came back and as Rob said, he's lost a step. So number 10 on my list, I've got Mikey Garcia. I agree with Rob. I've still got Rigo in my top 10. I've got him at 9. Rigo, talent-wise, is a lot higher than number 9, but he's been fucking up, not getting opponents, and it comes to a stage where he's got to take some of the blame for that, so he drops down on my list to number 9. Number 8, with an asterisk next to it, Sergey Kovalev. He's on a 2-fight unbeaten run. With people, I'm not going to get into that now. I've got over it. I was upset with the decision and the stoppage, but it is what it is. So I've got Sergey at 8. With all things right, he probably should be higher than 8. Number 7, I've got my future pound for pound king. Once he beats Triple G, I've got Canelo Alvarez. I think his resume is absolutely outstanding. It's probably better than anybody else, that's coming up in the sport right now around his age. He's light years ahead of them, resume-wise. His big fights next against Triple G, that's the acid test for him. Number 6, I've got Chocolatito. Choco, I thought he edged the fight. I'm not going to complain too much about the decision. It was a really close fight. Number 6, that's for me, Chocolatito. Number 5, Lomachenko, again, another fighter coming up. He's just, I know a lot of people have got Lomachenko in that around number 1 or 2 just now. Just for me, he's just that wee bit short of that, just resume wise. He has got a good resume. He's only had 10 fights he's had. He's going to improve. He's going to go higher on my list. Number 4, I've got Triple G, Gennady Golovkin. Gennady Golovkin, big knockout puncher, as we know. He's just lacking the big name. The big name win. He's got Canelo next. He's got a chance to go to pound for pound king if he wins that. Whoever wins that fight for me is pound for pound king. Number 3, Terence Crawford, flawless so far in his career. Dominated at lightweight. He's dominated at light welterweight. Big fight coming up next week. He should dominate that fight as well. Move up to welterweight. Chance to become pound for pound king. If he picks a couple of wins up there, nobody's really going to complain with that. Number 2, I've got Andre Ward. Asterix again, just like Kovalev. That's what it is. I've got over it. So he's number 2. And number 1, the man's back. I know he's not fought his fight yet, but if he's back in the sport, he's number 1 for me, Floyd Mayweather Jr. That's my top 10.
Mayweather at number 1, yeah?
Well, he's announced his comeback. As long as Floyd's in the sport, he's fighting. He's number 1 for me. He's proved that there many weight classes, all the best opponents. Floyd's number 1 as long as he's boxing.
Actually, scratch that for me then. I want to put McGregor on a 10 instead of Joshua.
What about Conor McGregor when he performs the upset on the 27th, Rob?
That's what I'm saying. He's my number 10 now. I'm buying into the hype, baby. That Paulie Malignaggi knockdown. I'm buying into it.
Can't dispute the power. Right. Any brief comments on Tommy's list? No, nobody wants to pick holes.
Maybe Floyd. He's fighting a novice, man. You can't put him back. I know if you're active in that, you've got to put the best fighter in the sport at the top of the list and that, but not against a fucking novice, surely.
Okay, Smido, we're coming to you next. Before we do so, a man after your own heart, Ryan Connors, has sent in his top 5 on Facebook. He's got Adonis Stevenson in at number 5.
Yes.
Terence Crawford at 4. Gennady Golovkin at 3. Vasyl Lomachenko at 2. And Andre Ward at number 1. Go ahead, Smig.
Right, as you'd expect, mine's a bit more shambolic than Rob and Tommy's, who have been very professional and clean. Because a lot of fights are agreed, I've got position. So, for example, my position number 2 is the winner of Canelo Triple G. So I'll go from the top. I think I've actually got 11 here. Ward number 1, Canelo or Triple G winner number 2, Crawford 3, Lomachenko 4. Gonzalez versus Wang Yek at 5, the winner of that. And then it gets a bit messy. I've got a couple of names in here that haven't really been mentioned. So the last 5 on my list can kind of make their own order. Yamanaka, Thurman, I think, is in there, maybe slips in at 9 or 10. Kovalev, Joshua, Santa Cruz, and I think Andy will mention this little guy, Nietes. I think he's up there as well. I've also got on the periphery the cruiserweight tournament winner. There's definitely potential for a cruiserweight to be in the top 10. They just haven't beat each other enough as yet, or there isn't one who's got supremacy in that division. When there is, they will certainly be in the top 10. We've also got the Estrada versus Cuadras winner that would have a definite argument to be in the top 10 when that takes place next month. Reasoning behind Joshua was similar to Rob, really. He would actually be at number 11 on my list, to be fair. But yeah, Klitschko was in there, and he's beat Klitschko. We can say what we want about our old years or whatever. And if Fury was active, Fury would definitely be in there as well, and probably above Joshua. But that's all if buts and maybes. I think Furman is definitely number 1 at welterweight, so he slips in the second half of the top 10 somewhere. Santa Cruz is borderline. I'm fully aware of that. But I think the top 5 or 6 kind of take care of themselves. I don't think anyone can argue, really, even with I'm not taking Mayweather into account. Andre Ward's definitely number 1 I think that's going to be pretty universal tonight, or I'm hoping so. And obviously the Canelo and Triple G winner, which is the biggest fight to take place this year, without any question. That will definitely put them up number 2 on my list, but there could be an argument for number 1, which is fair enough. There's all sorts of potential with the likes of Crawford and Lomachenko when they move up in weight, and I'm really hoping that Gonzalez can get the win in the rematch to cement himself as well. There's no Rigondo for me. Don't fight often enough, and when he does, he's fighting people I've never heard of, so he's not in there. And I've also got Inoue on the periphery as well, ready. Maybe he's definitely top 15, ready to make a move into the top 10. That's me.
Where did you have Adonis in that list? Sorry, Smido.
Adonis was obviously number 1, and then Ward at number 2.
Right,
but no Adonis. Let's get this clear. The last time we did this conversation, I messed it up bad, and I had Adonis in there, but no, Adonis is not in there. But because it's really good because there's there's 4 positions in my top 12 or whatever it is, which will be determined by fights that are to take place this year, which is great, good for the sport.
So what was your final list again?
Right, Ward.
Did you give a list, Smido?
yeah. Sorry, right. Ward, Canelo or Triple G winner, Crawford, Lomachenko, Gonzalez rematch winner. That's my top 5, and then the rest of it is just bullshit, to be honest.
Okay, what was the rest of the bullshit?
Thurman was in there.
Right, so I've got 1, 2.
I've got Thurman in mine as well.
I've seen others actually had him as well, actually.
Right, so I've got my 5. 6. I don't know. Maybe Kovalev at 6, followed by Furman at maybe 7. Yamanaka at 8.
You're making this up on the flyweight, aren't you?
I've got them wrote down here, but I haven't got them in the right order. So yeah, they're the ones I've got. My top 5's nailed, but the rest of it's a bit of a mess, to be honest.
Thanks, Smido. That's that cleared up. Right. Hey.
Smido had an intercontinental pound for pound list.
I'm not sure I'm any the wiser, but we'll move on. Right, hey to Dave, I'm coming to you next. Before we do so, I'm going to throw in a list that's been sent to us on Twitter from friend of the podcast and host of the critically acclaimed On Queer Street, Galaxy Shep. Have a load of this one, everybody. Shep has sent in at number 10, Leo Santa Cruz, number 9, Canelo, 8, Garcia, 7, Kovalev, 6, Triple G, 5, Lomachenko, 4, Crawford, 3, Gonzalez, 2, Rigondo, and number 1, Andre Ward. He also says Inoue, Usyk, and Yamanaka in the conversation too. Any critique of Shep's list there?
I've got too high.
I think he's got Rigo too high.
Rigo's too high. Usyk shouldn't be in the conversation. Not Hunter would have beat him if he had more gas tank.
Do we all know that Rigo is officially coming off of a no contest now? That they reversed that KO1 decision.
Yeah, it was changed, wasn't it?
Yeah, Santa Cruz at 10's not. I wouldn't agree with that, Steve.
Okay, Shep, you have been critiqued there by the boys. Andy, no, who did I say? Hater Dave, sorry, you're next. Go ahead, Hater.
All right, honorable mention / runner-up, Yuriorkis Gamboa. He's back to winning ways. Last night, he scraped a decision against the very tough Alexis something in Mexico. He's bounced back from that win, or that terrible KO loss against the ATG Castellanos, and he's on his way to the top. Number 10, just like Tommy, actually, I have Mikey Garcia at number 10. He would be higher, I think, if he had been more active and if he had stayed active. He could be even as high as 2 or 3, but he's at 10. That first fight back, he's either his first or second fight back against that one guy. He actually gave up a round or two. Did not look very good. He ultimately stopped him, of course, but I think maybe he did lose a little bit of something while he was out. Of course, he rectified that with the savage knockout of Zlatan, and he did rectify it against Broner. He could have knocked him out, though, in my opinion. I think he stood in front of him. He wanted to fight, and Broner was the one running away. Despite his post-fight interview saying he was the fighting man, he had plenty of chances to tee off, and he didn't take them. So I think that if Garcia had boxed more, I think he might have gotten the knockout, but who knows. Number 9, Golovkin. A lot of people have him in their top 5. I don't, because I just don't think that the names are there. The very good opponents are there. I'm going to have to say he's on the pound-for-pound list because of his dominating fashion in which he's beaten most of his opponents. Not Danny Jacobs. I thought Jacobs could have won that fight. Thought Golovkin could have lost that fight. I have to rescore it, but not impressed really by Golovkin's performance there. And the rest of the names on his resume are just, you wouldn't have him anywhere near the top 10 pound for pound. So, well, except for Kell Brook, but that was obviously a weight gulf there. So Golovkin, number 9. Canelo can have number 9 if he manages to beat him. Hope he doesn't. Number 8, Lomachenko. Another one probably lower than most people have him, but for me, his best win is got to be Walters. Either Walters or Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. happened quite a while ago, and Walters is the recent one, but he didn't really seem like he wanted to be there that much to me. I just want him to step up, because I truly believe too that he's an elite level talent, potential ATG material, and I want to see him take the tough fights, because that's what ATGs do. Number 7, got Maris Bradis. He's there because I like him, and I think he's the underrated dark horse at cruiserweight, and I hope he wins the tournament. So I'm back. If he doesn't win the tournament, then whoever does win the tournament can have space number 7. But I'm picking him to do it, so I'm putting him at number 7. Number 6, Errol Spence. He's been excellent. I would say throughout his career, he actually has continually impressed me with each fight. Even though it's not all been against top guys, he looks better each time. Looked excellent against Brook as well. made him quit, beat him down, and Brook, for me, was the #1 welterweight at the time. So good for him. Looking forward to what he can do in the future. We want to see the Crawford fight, the Thurman fight. Hopefully, other top. Yes, I did just pick Maris Bradis. You'll have your chance to criticize at the end, Steve. Number 5, David Price. Nothing else. Number 4, Wisaksil Wangek, the guy who beat Chocolatito. Whoever wins their rematch can have number 4 space back, but I did have Wangak winning that fight. It was a close one, but I did have him winning it. So good for him. Number 3, Terence Crawford, my man. I mean, there's no real debate there that he should be in the top 5, I don't think. I would like to see him go in against bigger names and better names and move up to 147. I think he can do it, but they've been replaying fights of him all week, actually. The place I work has got his fights on ESPN and other Sports Center and stuff. And I mean, it's nice to revisit some of these performances, like against Lundy and Diaz, Delorme. He looked so good in these fights, even though these guys are not elite guys. He's dominated them so well. Postal, I think, is his best win, and he did that in very fine style. I wish Postal would come back though, because I think he still has something to offer to the boxing world. Number 2, Andre Ward. I mean, another undebatable highly ranked guy. I did not have a problem with his win over Kovalev. I did have a problem with Tony Weeks' stoppage, but Ward can't control that, and Ward was on his way to finishing him anyway. I just wish that Tony Weeks hadn't robbed Ward and Kovalev and the fans of a natural conclusion to that fight, which was coming. Number 1, Amir Khan. Nobody has ever shut out Devin Alexander so clearly. Floyd ducked him.
Off your face.
Floyd avoided the fight, and obviously Khan would have won that fight and therefore been pound for pound number 1. And as he is active and Floyd is not, we have to just by default name Amir Khan number 1.
Read it out quickly, 10 down to 1, Dave, just names.
Number 1, Amir Khan. Number 2, Andre Ward. Number 3, Terence Crawford. Number 4, Wisaksil Wangek. Number 5, David Price. Number 6, Errol Spence. Number 7, Maris Bradis. Number 8, Lomachenko. 9, Golovkin. And 10, Mikey Garcia.
Fucking kill yourself.
He said David Price 3 times now, and with a straight face, no hesitation or comedy.
Jesus fuck.
Hey, the man is a living meme. He's the best boxing meme in the last 10 years.
I don't know. Like, see when Amir Khan got iced off fucking Prescott and Canelo, like it was pretty dull stuff. Like,
Any serious comments before we move on?
fuck, how can I be serious with that?
It's a great list.
I'm surprised you didn't have Fury on there, you melon.
He avoided Price.
Yes.
You baldy, spastic, casual bastard.
Khan beats them all.
I'm with Dave. Team Khan, baby.
Right, come on, Andy.
Oh, is it me? Right, okay.
Hold on, Andy. Let me read out one more before we come to you from Joey at Master Mode. He's given us a top 8. He's got Kovalev coming in at 8. He's got the Canelo Triple G loser at 7. Rigo at 6. The winner of the Cruiserweight tournament at 5. A lot of caveats here. Number 4, Lomachenko. 3, Crawford. 2, the Triple G Canelo winner. And number 1, Andre Ward. Go ahead, Andy.
I'm going to be pure hardcore, pure hipster gear, top 15. Fuck yous all. Right, okay. I'm going to go 15, Leo Santa Cruz. 14, I'm going to go with Keith Furman. 13, Juan Francisco Estrada. 11, Donny Nietes. That's just kind of outside it, so I will not really kind of get into the conversation about the guys really, but they can get if you want it. 10, Kovalev. I just think because he was destructing people, apart from like the Chilemba fight. I did have him winning the first fight against Ward, and obviously, as the guy says, you know, I'm not sore about the stoppage at the end of the day. Ward was really getting his way with him at the end of the day anyway. But so I'm still going to have Kovalev in the top 10. I don't think he deserves to be dropped out of there. 9, Inoue. No surprise there. Big fan of this guy just before he turned pro. If you look at I think it was his 4th pro fight against Takeuchi for the Japanese light flyweight title. Takeuchi's went on to become a world champion in his own right, and he basically kind of dominated the guy for 10 rounds. He stops Adrian Hernandez, Omar Narvaez. These guys are decent, really good fighters. Narvaez is obviously like an old school, well experienced fighter doing it that weight. Carmona, Kono, I just think these are really good wins. And the fact is that he's doing it at such a young age and very quick in his career and that. So I think he's definitely number 9. Number 8 for me would be Mikey Garcia. Just where the rest of the guys are saying, I would actually have him higher on the list if he hadn't had that 2 years of inactivity. And I don't think he deserves to be any higher after he's been off for 2 years and only fought. Okay, he fought he fought one guy and he fought Slatic Cannon and Broner. I don't think he deserves to be any higher than that. Yamanaka, number 7 for me. Long-standing WBC bantamweight champ. Maybe not fully classed as the lineal champ, but he's got the ring title, so I suppose you could class him as that. But he's got a defence coming up at the week on Tuesday. I think it's his 12th or his 13th defence at that title. 6, Canelo. I agree with everybody else, especially what Tommy says. He's got a great resume. He got well schooled against Floyd, but then again, who doesn't get schooled against Floyd? End of the day, that's just the way it is. Couple, disputed loss to me, I think, would be Lara. I think Lara beat him. And the Trout fight had a draw, but I'm not going to hold that against him. He has got to where he's got to at a young age, so you got to kind of hand it to him. Golovkin, number 5, absolute dominant middleweight. For the last since he turned pro, really. Up maybe till his last fight. Some people would say that he maybe lost the fight, kind of closest fight anyway on points, but I just think the way he's been kind of train wrecking that whole division for the best part of 6-7 years, definitely deserves to be number 5. 4, Lomachenko. Again, is what Tommy says. I can't go any higher than that because he's not got the resume just now to kind of push him higher. Skill wise, if you want to put him, if you just want to do this purely on skills, and you're going to have him in the top 2, top 3, no question. But a couple of good solid names on that on his ledger in the next couple of years, and that he's going to be up there. Number 3, Crawford. Basically, he's how he handles fights. 2-weight champ. Probably could say he was lineal champ at 135, but he's definitely going to be the lineal champ at 140, barring like a heat seeker is going to knock him out. So sweet tea for me at number 3. Number 2, Gonzalez. Now, the reason why I've got him at number 2 is I don't think a guy who actually went in and fought a guy, got knocked down in the first round and had a disputed defeat deserves to be dropped from number 1 on most people's lists to either like the bottom end of that or right out there. The rank. Steve, I heard you read out one person's rankings that didn't have Gonzalez in it whatsoever. I think that's nonsense. If you had Gonzalez number 1 for a while and he's had a closely disputed loss in his last fight, he doesn't deserve to be dropped right out the rankings. So Gonzalez number 2 for me. His next fight's going to tell us where he's actually at physically. He's definitely on the slide now though. And number 1, you got to get to Andre Ward. I just, if you look at his record, really, super middleweight. Okay, again, he's another one who's a couple of years off, but if you just look at his opponents, his last 5 fights, Kovalev, Barrera, Paul Smith, Edmund Rodriguez, Chad Dawson, some of the names are not really all that great and stuff, but if you look at really the Kovalev wins, put them in asterisks and stuff, but I just think you've got to, the way the second fight stopped was no how it should have went, and there should have been an immediate third fight possibly, but I just think the way Ward handled that fight, basically with the body shots, I just thought you've got to give it to him number 1. So for me, I'll get in reverse order. That's Ward, Gonzalez, Crawford, Lomachenko, Golovkin, Canelo, Yamanaka, Garcia, Inoue, and Kovalev. My top 10.
I agree with you on Gonzalez, Andy. I think after building up that body of work, one close loss shouldn't diminish you out of the top 5, especially not the top 10.
Exactly, but as I say, okay, you could say that, you know, doing it at those weights and that, you know, especially the top ranked fighters, you know, with organisation and stuff, you know, there's no really a lot of give and take between the quality, I suppose you could say. But in the days, these guys were heavily ranked in these organisations. You know, and basically some of the guys who went on to become world champions in their own rights, and that he beat them before anybody even heard of them or even knew them. You know, another one, I'm surprised that even Smedo actually even came up with the name actually, but you know, says he's just on the periphery. My man Donny Nietes, you know, he's another one, you know, a long-standing kind of like light flyweight, beat everybody. Moses Fuentes, Francisco Rodriguez, you know, some good fighters, and he's up at flyweight now. And you know, he just maybe hasn't got the full resume, so to speak. But again, as you say with Gonzalez, he's got a real good body of work there, and one close disputed loss shouldn't basically kind of get him kicked out the top 5. Never even get kicked off the list entirely.
Tell that to Danny Garcia. Nobody's joking.
Aye.
I'm surprised that people have Spence and have Thurman higher than Spence on the list.
Well, he's not my top 10 anyway, but I would say it's definitely top 15. I would probably see. I was really kind of swithering with the David Rigo. I didn't kind of like keep him in there because like what he has done in the past, but then you know you can't always.
It's hard, like, isn't it? There's no set criteria for it, so it's like, you know what I mean. You have to kind of just go off gut feeling and activity.
Yeah, you have to say, Rob, does one Kell Brook outweigh a Porter and who was the other one he beat? Garcia.
Bundu as well.
Danny Garcia, we all knew Danny Garcia wasn't good. Like, Danny Garcia lost to Herrera. He could have lost to Peterson. He went life and death with an old man Morales. He had those 2 wins against Can and Matisse, but it showed later on with Matisse that he could be beaten like that on the back foot anyway. I never thought Garcia was up to much for it.
Well, let's say, you know, Garcia, Porter, Collazo, Guerrero, and Leonard Bundu. You know, it wasn't that long ago that Bundu was clowning Frankie Gavin, you know.
I just think Spence would have beat anyone that Thurman's beaten. I know that's
true. I agree with you. Like, I mean, I do think Spence is really good, but as I agree with what Steve's saying. You know, if you look at what he's fought, is it Bundu,
Hank Lundy,
and who was the one? Kell Brook is about the only 2 I can really think of at the minute that he's.
Yeah, that's it really on his resume.
I would say he impressively got rid of Bundu, but he's run of the mill. I don't
40 though, mate. He was 40 at that point. He's seen better days.
Chris Algieri, you knocked out as well.
Aye,
yeah,
well,
okay.
you got to give him that one. He stopped that boy. Chris Van Heerden, no, that great, but he schooled McGregor. Nobody thinks McGregor's going to knock out Mayweather.
Does that carry currency, schooling McGregor?
Oh, yes.
Any other critiques of Andy's list?
Can he be? Means he's the fucking ATG list.
Nobody's stepping up, Andy. It looks like you've fronted them all up. While Dominic furiously tries to justify sneaking Anthony Kakachi into his top 10, I shall come up with mine. So send your hate mail if you please. I've got Rigondo at number 10. I've got Pacquiao at 9. I've got Thurman at 8. I've got Kovalev at 7. I've got Canelo at 6. I've got Crawford at 5. I've got Gonzalez at 4. Triple G at 3. Lomachenko at 2. And Andre Ward at number 1. What do you all reckon?
Keith Thurman too high for me, mate.
Fair enough. Who would you have in that I haven't got in? Santa Cruz, Garcia?
You didn't put Yamanaka in there. You didn't put Inoue in, which is fine. I mean, I'm not saying that you should, like, but maybe like Yamanaka or a Garcia maybe in place of Thurman probably.
Yeah, I think Yamanaka deserves to be in a top 10.
I'm ignorant to Yamanaka, I'll be honest. It's on ignorance more than anything else. I don't think Inoue deserves to be in yet, but
I can get you some fights if you want him.
Oh, I do so because I don't remember seeing. Who's Yamanaka fought that I would know? Was that Moreno, no?
He fought Moreno twice.
Stopped him the second time.
Aye.
I did see that, yeah, I did see that.
He fought Stephen Jamoy. That was the one that went that wasn't the one that went life and death with what do you call him? Jason Easton.
No, that was Steve Jamoy.
Aye.
Stephen Jamoy got stopped by Scott Quigg, didn't they?
That's the one. That's the one.
He fought that dude that beat Jamie McDonald, or should have beat Jamie McDonald, Solis.
Solis, yeah.
Solis, Vic Dachinian. He beat 12 rounds with him, but Vic was kind of slightly past his prime at that point, up in weight again. Rojas. There was one. See if you look at there was one knockout. Actually, I think it might have been Christian Esquivel, or it might have been. It was the Rojas knockout. That was the most evil knockout of the year. Malcolm Tenascio.
Tenascio, yeah.
Aye, that was another one actually. So it says he's no. He's probably slightly past his peak now. It's a hard fight for him on Tuesday. This Lewis Neri guy. This guy's up and comer, eh? And Yamanaka's been dropped now. I think he's been dropped something like 4 or 5 times in his last 3 or 4 fights. That's
I think the first Moreno fight kind of showed he was feeded, because Moreno's a feeded fighter as well, isn't he?
Aye, he is, mate.
That was a close fight. That could have went either way, that fight. A lot of people think actually Moreno won the fight, but
that's the reason why the rematch.
I'll turn out the wins. I think you're right about this Needy. This is a tough fight for him. I think you've got to maybe need to knock him out in this fight. He's got the power to do that. Yamanaka.
That's Tuesday night, isn't it? That one.
It'll be Tuesday afternoon, mate. I would think Tuesday lunchtime, probably, maybe Tuesday morning. Just look, search for Asian Boxing on Twitter and that. He might be able to kind of keep us posted on that one. Okay. But as I say, by next week, Yamanaka might be dropping out the top 10 if he gets beat here.
Yeah, I did see the Moreno rematch. Now that you mention it, yeah.
I think he is vulnerable now, though. He's definitely past the peak, and the chins we can't get.
Fair to phone now.
Aye.
Yeah.
My question is, I know Tommy said as much, but does the winner of Triple G Canelo go to number 1, or do they go to number 2?
Nah, Ward stays number 1 for me. The new.
I'm putting it. Well, I think give us a clean, decisive victory for either guy.
What do you think, Smitho? I think you could make a case, couldn't you?
I can see both sides of the argument, but when it just hammered it home for me then when Andy mentioned Andre Ward's last 5 opponents, particularly the 3.
Paul Smith.
Smitho's been bumped off for that opinion, Tommy.
We're back on the. What was he going to erase there?
It's just on me about the decisiveness.
Yeah, when Andy mentions Ward's last 3 opponents before Kovalev, they ain't going to be as good as the most recent body of work for Triple G or Canelo. So there's an argument can be made that Triple G Canelo winner, if it is decisive as Tommy says, goes above Ward. I can see it both ways.
Fair enough, Smitho. We have Twitter questions and value of the weeks to come. Before that, Dominic, last but by no means least, will give us his top 10, top 15, or whatever you want. Dominic, go ahead.
Well, Steve, I think I'll start with a bit of a curveball. In at number 10 is Haroon Khan, followed by number 9 Shah Khan, number 8. No, I'm only messing. Those that
was already more credible than Dave's list.
Nonsense.
But I'll give it. I won't give a top 15. I'll just give a few. I've got a few like Spence and Thurman on Yamanaka for me are just outside. Leo Santa Cruz too, just outside the top 10 for me. Like the thing with like Yamanaka is what I would hold against him is the fact that like a lot of these good Japanese fighters, very few of them ever seem to fight outside of their home country, and that's for me one reason why he's probably not just outside the top 10. But I'll just very quickly, I'll go from 10 to 1, and then I'll talk a wee bit after. I've got Linares at 10, Canelo, Arrigo, at 9, Kovalev at 8, Canelo at 7, Mikey Garcia at 6, Chocolatito at 5, Golovkin at 4, Terence Crawford at 3, Lomachenko at 2, and Andre Ward at 1. And for me, I was a bit of a dilemma over whether to put Crawford at 2 and Loma at 3 or the other way around. But for me, this guy Lomachenko, I think he's sensational. I mean, I still haven't seen the fight the other night. I was away on a holiday, but I mean, like, it just seems that this guy, everyone he fights, doesn't matter who it is, you're just going to get 7 or 8 rounds. That's the maximum. You're just going to get beaten up, taken out. He's just like, see, people. He's only had 8 or 9 fights, but see his top like what he did to Guy Russell. I mean, Guy Russell is a quality fighter, and he manhandled the guy. He's just like you would see. Someone's really, really once in a generation fighter like Bob Arum, who's seen it all. Bob Arum very, very, very rarely waxes lyrical about a fighter. Really waxes lyrical, but this guy, he's completely transfixed by this guy. He says he's like a bloody acrobat. The things he does in the ring, the way he spins people, he's just like nothing like nothing anyone's seen before. It's like the one thing I would say as well is, as I haven't seen the Mariaga fight, but I was a bit disappointed with the people who were criticising the fight and criticising Lomachenko for taking the fight, because that guy Mariaga, he's not actually. I actually think he's a very underrated fighter. Like, I know he got beat by Valdez, but that was a really, really competitive fight. And he was a huge featherweight. He's probably a natural super featherweight. So for me, it wasn't. I wasn't too pissed off about it as a fight. But for the one thing also would say about, there's a few lads have been discussing about whether the winner of Canelo and Golovkin automatically becomes number one. The reason that I would be hesitant to say that the winner would become number one is because if you remember before the first Ward Kovalev fight, everyone was saying that the winner of this is definitely pound for pound number one. And after the fight, when it was such a, even the people who did think Ward won the fight, even they were sort of reluctant that, Ward hadn't won decisively enough or comprehensively enough to warrant being the new pound for pound number one. Although after the second fight, I do have him. I was sort of similar to Andy. You have to give him the credit after the second fight, for the way he broke him down to the body. But I do have Kovalev in there, like Andy was saying again. Fighters like Chocolatito and Kovalev, just because they lose a fight, you can't have them outside the top 10 simply because they lost one fight. And that precisely is the attitude that is the root of so much of boxing's problems. That's why fighters over the last decade, 15 years, have been so reluctant to take on the big fights, because they're petrified that one loss will lead to such a diminution of status that people won't give them a chance again. So it's wrong to totally ostracize someone or just cast them out of your top 10 because they lost one fight against another elite fighter. Again, that's why Chocolatito's in at number 5, and he could go back up to 2 if he wins the rematch against Trisikat. But Lomachenko, I think, I have him at 2, and if Ward, I think Lomachenko, to me, he's the heir apparent. I think he's just something else. I mean, I've got Mikey Garcia in at 6.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, Dominic. What?
Yeah, it's a bit of a, not many other guys had him in at 6, but he's a 3-weight world champion, and I think he's the only fighter at the minute. I mean, Terence Crawford would beat Lomachenko, but that's because he's massive. But basically, from lightweight down, I think Mikey Garcia is the only man that can give Lomachenko a legitimate test, like a real test. He's one of the most chilling punchers I've seen over the last sort of 10 years, and he's a very, very proficient technician to go alongside it. Beautiful job, and he wants it. He's the other thing I would say, Steve, just like a more general comment about the sort of how you judge pound for pound. Like, I think it has to be accomplishment, achievement. That obviously has to be a big part of it. But for me, it has to be a combination of that plus pure technical ability. That's why Rigo's still in the list, because there's people like Rigo who are just a victim. It's not totally other people's fault. Like, it's Rigo. He has to look at himself, and those Caribe folk who are managing, they don't have a clue what they're doing. But like, a lot of it is down to people just don't want to fight the guy. And for me, it's just too harsh to drop him out of the top 10 completely. Have him in there at 9. But Canelo Golovkin, I think I'm still hesitant to say the winner of that fight is a pound for pound number 1. I mean, if one of them wins by stoppage and wins comprehensively, there's an argument for it. But Ward is the number 1, closely followed by Lomachenko. I think Lomachenko is just he's unbelievable.
Excellent stuff. Any brief critique of Dominic's top 10 there before we move on to Twitter questions? Doesn't look like it, Dominic. Look like you've nailed it there. Stay with us for Twitter questions. I've got one coming your way very shortly. Tommy's back. That's always a good sign. Right, Smido, good question for you from Craig Mastro. He says, what's more annoying, Smido? A casual boxing fan, an MMA McGregor fan, or Spencer X? I know what I'll be going for. What are you going for, Smith?
Oh, million percent Spencer X. I mean, what we've got we're at the top of the mountain. 2017, we've reached the peak of Twitter madness. not only because Eddie Hearn has continued to run
Grass. Eddie's a grass.
Spencer X has been worse than ever. Tony Bellew's won a pay-per-view fight. We've got MMA now cross-selling with you know, the apparent TBE. I mean, we're at the epitome now. We've got Frank doing offers over via, you know, straight down the camera with Kugan Cassius. It's brilliant, and we've got so much material to talk about and tweet about, and the casuals are coming out of the woodwork more and more every day. But the answer to the question, Steve, is definitely Spencer X. He needs to be stopped.
Forcibly.
Yeah.
I like
Immeasurably.
that. I like that. He needs to be stopped.
That's code for he needs to be whacked.
The MMA fans got to get a mention too, though, because over here the hysteria over this thing is out of control. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, and ever since this sparring footage dropped, oh man, it's getting worse than ever. Though, like I told you.
But
I don't know if
I bet Crumlin's a no-go area now. Eh?
Oh, stop! Oh, imagine the party there when he's coming back. Holy, that'll boost the economy.
I don't know if you guys have encountered it, but I've been genuinely annoyed because you know, in my workplace, probably in your workplace, you're seen as the boxing guy or whatever minority sport that it may be in the general public. Getting people ask me about this, you know, this circus of a fight, and all I want to talk about is the one that takes place 3 weeks later, you know, for middleweight unification. It's becoming difficult, but when someone new comes to me, you know, it might be the third or fourth person that week. I end up, you know, coming across like an arsehole saying, "Oh, I don't want to talk about it," but that's just how I feel, and I've said that to many people. I said it's a circus. The build-up will be more entertaining than the fight. I do genuinely believe that, and I don't want to talk about it. I genuinely don't want to talk about it.
Smido doesn't want to talk about it, everybody, so let that be a lesson to you. Right, Rob Kelly, we asked this question last week. We were talking about the heavyweights, about Fury, about Klitschko, and Samuel ATR on Twitter has thrown in a question of a similar nature, Rob. If Tyson Fury had never beaten Vladimir and freed up all the belts, what would the heavyweight division look like now?
Maybe Klitschko would have rode off into the sunset, maybe with one more defense or something and called it a day. I don't know if Joshua would have wanted to fight if Klitschko had beaten Fury, say knocked him out even. I don't think that fight would have happened then for a long time. They would have been waiting for Vlad to get old. So I don't really know. Maybe AJ's chin could have got tested earlier and he might have got stopped and he might have been gone. I don't really know. The heavyweight landscape is not so appealing anyway, is it? Like, so there's only like we need Fury because there's only a couple of names there. Like,
It's interesting, isn't it, Rob? Because you think to yourself, if he'd have beaten Fury, Eddie would have been so reluctant then, wouldn't he, to put Joshua in with him? You know what I mean? Maybe the Fury fight had a factor along with the inactivity as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think that definitely played it. They definitely thought they had him at the right time, and it proved to be correct. They did get him at the right time. I think the heavyweight landscape is on the rise, though, because, you know, we've got the new Ken Norton in Big Baby Miller, so looking forward to seeing what he does.
I think Steve probably took Joshua doing a fucking WBA regular route or something, wouldn't he?
I'm not too sure. I'm gonna give AJ and Mr. Hearn a bit more credit here than what we normally do. I think that was in their plan, to be honest, to go the Klitschko route. I think there was eyeing that up for a long time. Obviously through the sparring, etc. from yesteryear. I just think that even if he'd have beat Fury, would have probably still seen that. To be honest, that's just my opinion.
Maybe so. I want to see. But there's no more AJ bashing for me. I'm on Team AJ ever since this Khan thing. But I want to see who Khan's Mrs. Promoter is going to match her with next. Is she going to go for the pound for pound titles? Will she go for Golovkin possibly? Who knows? Anthony Ward's a bit too wholesome. That'd be a real upset. That one.
Sake. Well,
he's going to have a better resume than the whole of the Smith family by the end of this year.
Well, heavyweight expert Doc Asif got involved anyway underneath this question. He said Vladimir would have gone on to beat Glaskov and then Ortiz and then lose to AJ or beat Wilder. So that's what the doc says. I mean, yeah, okay, fair enough. I wouldn't disagree with that too much. Right, who've we got on the call? Big Tommy. Oh, this could be a dodgy one, Tommy. Now, you're the boss, so it's up to you whether you want to answer this or not, okay? From Simon Luckhurst. He says, firstly, apologise for asking about this putrid event that is McGregor versus Mayweather. But what are all your thoughts on the likelihood that McGregor can last the 12 rounds? Surely it's impossible, even if Floyd tries to carry him. 4 to 6 odds just seem crazy, like printing money. What do you think, Gurry?
Well, I'm a man of the people, so I'll answer it. I think the indication that Floyd wants 8-ounce gloves is an indication that he's going to try and knock him out. I'm betting Mayweather in the first 6 rounds for this fight. I think he'll stop him. He'll toy with him. He'll hurt him at will. He'll do what he wants from him. He'll knock him out when he wants. It's not a competitive fight. Floyd's got to blow him away. Do what he wants from him. And that's what makes it a shit fight that nobody really wants to talk about, because
you're buying it, aren't you, Tommy?
I'm going to buy it. I'm just looking forward to. I'm actually looking forward to hearing the Sky commentary on it. You know how much I'm a big fan of the Sky team and that. I just want to listen to them talk up this incredible show. I want to hear Frotchy and Paul Smith break it down for us and that, you know.
Johnny Nelson,
aye.
The only reason those odds are so short even is because I was even down with my mate, like I mentioned, I was down with my mates yesterday, and they're pure. They listen to the show and all that now. Actually, shout out to Turbo, but they're pure MMA guys, and they were on McGregor like when he was nobody basically, and watching out for his. And now they're like, you know, they can't believe it. Every time he says he's going to do something, he does it. And they had the betting sheets out and everything yesterday, and I was looking at some of the odds like. And they're way shorter than they should be. Like, you know what I mean? Some of the, I think you can get like 25 to 1 on McGregor in the first 4 rounds, or the first round is 28 to 1 or something. That should be 2,800 to 1. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of money going on. There's a lot of money going on, Conor. It's just,
and he's just done a brand deal with BetSafe Group. And like they said, they reckon like that, like 60% of the money gone down on the fight in the last 6 months has gone on him. So.
I'll put it this way. There's a lot of guys I work with that are similar to my age, and they're all kind of they're casual followers of boxing and MMA, and every one of them are saying, it's a good fight, this is a good fight, this is going to be a great fight, and that. I'm sitting there saying, you bastards haven't got a fucking clue, man, eh? But that's a general opinion on the street that it is a good fight and it's a competitive fight. Yeah. So
Tommy,
the ones are reflecting that.
Tommy, people shit on it and people say, I don't want to talk about that crap. But everybody has an opinion. Since we mentioned it, look at all the microphones that have undone themselves on the panel. People do have an opinion on the fight, though.
Exactly, man. I think everybody on this will agree what the opinion is, but it's captured imagination. So that's what it is. It's a big event.
The thing is, with the odds, because McGregor has been this whirlwind of success in MMA and he's captured the imagination, he's been a crossover star, and even people like me have been getting up in the middle of the night to watch him, which I would never have done that for an MMA fight before. They see this man that is on the, you know, at the top of the mountain, available at 5 to 1, against a man who's been retired for 2 years. So it don't take many 10 and 20 quidders on at 5 to 1 to bring the odds in a little bit. It's simple mathematics. No one will be betting on Mayweather to win, just win on his own, because you're not going to get rich. You know, at 1 to 2, for every tenner you put on, you're only winning a fiver. Is it worth it? But you put a tenner on McGregor and you're looking at £60 back. Then, you know, however unlikely we think that is to happen, they just see that in their little bet slip, £10 to win 50. And they think that that's a good proposition. There
was a guy in America put down $880,000 today just to win back 160.
For Mayweather. To win a million for Mayweather. It's a million back.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, there's a lot of people on Twitter that you know will pop up on our timelines, and they're just waiting for them odds to come in, because when that Sky bandwagon gets going and they say that McGregor's got a chance and Johnny Nelson's doing a blog and Paul Smith is saying he's seen the sparring videos with Malignaggi, them odds will no, seriously, them odds will come in a little bit more. We saw what happened the other week with Broner. His odds were way too short than what they should have been against Mikey Garcia. So, you know, there's obviously a lot of interest. There's a lot of special bets you can have as well. It does create a lot of interest.
Yeah, you're bang on the money. I was reading during the week that there's more individual bets actually being placed on McGregor than Mayweather in this fight. There's obviously more money being bet on Mayweather, but there's actually been more individual bets. Well, obviously the small bets of $10, $20, $30, £30 are going on Conor, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
I tell you what, though, see after this fight, though, I think he's got a career in basketball set up for him, like. Anybody see that meme? That was fucking.
Aye, that was quality.
That was the best thing I've seen on Twitter fucking for years.
How does he do that with his earrings, man? He must be double jointed or something, eh? That's fucking strange, eh?
It's Bizarro world. We're living in Bizarro world. Like Malignaggi's leaving the camp, having it. Malignaggi likes to whinge when he does get beaten, though.
Yeah, I'm sick of listening to him, Rob.
Because when he got beaten by Broner, he had a meltdown in the ring and all that. And he is whiny, like, so maybe there is something to him getting beat up, but like he did look kind of nice on the clip, like.
Remember the time he was fucking slagging on Al Heyman? And then he fucking joins him.
He's a mercenary.
He's a fucking slut.
Yes. He used to slag all that team. They used to slag De La Hoya and that. The next thing you said, Golden Boy, and was with Heyman, eh? He was slagging Pacquiao, wasn't he?
Fucking promiscuous, Paulie.
And the thing is, right, see off that video right now, put it to in general terms. Does anybody rate Sam Eggington here?
Exactly.
I like Sam. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say.
I know.
Although I think he could beat. I did say I think he could beat Broner, but
I know.
He would beat Connor's ass.
You can see where I'm coming from here, right?
So if he's not as good as Eggington, who stopped Malignaggi, how do you think he's going to fare with Floyd Mayweather? Right?
Paul in his younger days was fucking rapid. Rapid jab. Okay, he was a really good boxer and stuff. If that had been like, this is Paulie who's taken punishment. He's not been training and he's in the fucking ring. The new thing is, the shot, that left hand looked fucking pretty heavy, right? Okay, he got dropped. So what? Fucking, did you get knocked out? No, you got up. Aye. Did you finish it? Aye. Did you walk out the ring? Aye. So what the fuck's the fucking problem? Just tell the truth.
Yeah, exactly. It's not enough. It's not enough. Even if he's enough to give a retired Malignaggi some kind of damage, it's not going to be enough. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, fucking
hell. It's bizarre world that we're even like, you know what I mean? And Joe Cortez is refereeing. Like, what's going on in 2017?
If you look at Paulie in the clips and that as well, he's trying to show him. He's trying to show him what Mayweather's going to do as well. Doing a shoulder roll and that. He's trying to mimic Mayweather. He's not really fighting in his own style, is he?
Well, I didn't look too much into it, right? But did you look at the parts of that fucking video? It looked like. It looked like Paulie was trying to, I don't know, maybe he was trying to kind of, act on, obviously, because he looked like he was standing there, moving back, no head movement, straight lines, and stands in the middle of fucking McGregor taking shots.
He looked tired. I just thought he looked tired, didn't it, man?
Either that, or he's really wanting to kind of, he's McGregor's paying him well to go in there and say, listen, here's what I want you to try and do with him, right? I want you to try this with him and try that with him, right? Take some shots, see what the power's like, and see what he's like technically, then report back to me, right? Possibly, there's two options. Either A, he's fucked, or B, if Floyd sent him in there to try and see what he's got, paid him pretty handsomely for it as well. Conspiracy, maybe.
Screw this whole pantomime anyway. You won't hear us wasting any time on it, that's for sure. Let's move on. Quick interjection from our friend and contributor Joe O'Neill from IrishBoxing.com. He's thrown in his pound for pound list, a couple actually, so I'm going to read them out here. First of all, he's going for an eye test pound for pound list. That's a bit of a new one. He goes.
That's ones in PEDs.
No, Gervonta Davis at 10, Kovalev at 9, Inoue at 8, Crawford at 7, Golovkin at 6, Garcia 5, Gonzalez 4, Ward 3, Rigondeaux 2, and Lomachenko 1. That's the eye test pound for pound. And then Joe goes for resume wise. 10 Rigondeaux, 9 Thurman, 8 Crawford, 7 Lomachenko, 6 Garcia, 5 Kovalev, 4 Inoue, that's quite high, 3 Golovkin, 2 Gonzalez, and 1 Ward. He's got Inoue quite high there, Andy.
But he's also got Golovkin up at 3, and if you're talking about resumes and stuff like that, you didn't have him up as high as that. If you're going to rank him on resume alone, you didn't have him in the top 3.
Even Riga shouldn't be 10, I don't think. His resume has been pretty shit, except for down there.
Controversy from the hater there as usual. Right, let's have a look. Who have we got on the call? Smido. Joey at Master Mode. He said, I was watching an interview by another video reporter recently with Peter Fury, and with all the goings on and the smoking mirrors, the main questions that this guy asked was, how was your camp? What do you think of Parker and Mayweather McGregor? All questions we have heard him answer so many times. So, question for you, Smido, from Joey. What do you think of these video reporters, and basically, are there too many of them in boxing?
I can't really comment as if there's too many because I don't go looking for them. They could be loads and loads but I just don't go looking for them. Like many other people, the IFL boys have done a fantastic job. and they're obviously the market leaders. And I used to watch virtually every one of their videos. Now I'm a bit picky and choosy, like what the stage Andy's got to really. If I see a Dillian White for 38 minutes, I don't watch it. To be fair,
To be honest, mate, who sits here for 45 minutes and listens to Eddie Hearn spin and talk bullshit and
Same people who listen to us.
I know, but at least we're fucking real. At least we fucking stick to the fucking, we're no fucking following a narrative or whatever. And that, we've not got agendas and shit. Okay,
listen, I'm a big fan of IEFL. I watch a lot of their videos, especially on Sundays. I try to catch up with as much, but the long videos it's just too much. I can't sit and watch a video for 45 minutes of Eddie Hearn talking bullshit.
It's nothing against,
especially when he's saying shit in the same interview, like, I try to be honest with the fans, Coog. Then 2 minutes later he says, I'm no shy with the bullshit, Coog.
Yeah, you don't even believe it.
It's verbal diarrhea, man.
It's nothing against James or Coogan and that. I just can't be bothered listening to Eddie Hearn fucking spouting piss for over an hour,
Do you know what you can do, Smido? Not on the phone, but on the computer. What I do is I put the video on and then you crank it up to 1.5 speed.
Oh, no. Well, I just listen to it when I'm at work. I don't physically watch it. I just listen to it while I'm at work, mainly the hour-long Eddie Hearn ones. But I think back to the original question, yeah, there probably is, because it's easy. It's easy nowadays. I've seen people at press conferences, and you probably have, Steve, doing it on the camera phone. They haven't even got an actual video recorder. But yeah, they've probably seen the success of what James and Coogan have had, and have tried to chip into that a little bit. Obviously, you can now get paid via YouTube for adverts when you get so many views. Just on the Fury camp, I think it's very interesting, and I've mentioned this before, that Coogan, who got some fantastic access to Tyson Fury before, during, and after the Klitschko fight, has gone very, very quiet on that front. So I'm wondering what's going on there. Is the Fury shut up shop to everyone? And I wouldn't blame him if they was doing that, or have they just fell out with, or have they had words with Mr. Coogan? I don't know. But
no,
there's definitely something going on there.
No, I just think I'm only surmising here, but I think he might have had a close friend die or something like that recently. Yeah, I'm not too sure.
I think Tyson's getting advice of lawyers and that as well, not to say too much and stuff like that as well, with this hearing and that going on. So,
but it's good to listen to. With all these fights, he would have a good opinion on the circuit. He would have a good opinion on Triple G and Canelo. He'd have, he could have talked about Bellew Hay, obviously Joshua Klitschko. He's got a well-rounded knowledge of the game, and it's a shame not to. If we're not seeing him fighting, I wouldn't mind listening to him more often.
I think you could have a career in this, Smido. Adam Smith at Smido11. Please subscribe.
No, I'm not good enough, Steve. I'm too much of a casual. Yeah, I'm not. I'll stick to what I'm doing at the moment. It pays more.
That's all right. Coogan's a casual.
Oh, yeah,
Tommy, you pretty much answered the third part of Joey's question. He said, who do you rate in terms of getting the news and the relevant information and actually asking the key questions the fans really want to know? Well, the thing is, Tommy, one person who would have been good at this, but she dropped out of the game, the original pioneer, Jane Couch.
Jane Couch, she's the fuck about man, you know what I mean? Especially, she looked like she's had a few in some of her interviews and that as well.
Whatever happened to her?
A few what?
A few. Well, I've got to say a few drinks because she'll cut my
actually, there's a video out there on YouTube actually that she's trying. This guy's wanting to know how to throw a punch and stuff. So she said, "I'll do it with you." Fucking jab, right hand, broke his fucking nose. And he's raging.
I seen that. That was in the back. It was in a back Gearden, wasn't it?
Barbecue or
something. I seen that 20 years ago, a couple of years ago now. She whacked him, so that much love and respect to you, Jane. I didn't want one of these shots. I couldn't hit a girl back anyway. Yeah.
I tell you who could go. Seg back.
Oh man, he's up for my belly of the week this week.
Yeah, he's on a few people.
Oh fuck yeah, no.
Yeah, fucking.
You wore him, that prick, man. I mean, I seen him cutting about Vegas one time, man. He was like the fucking Rain Man jumping about. That guy's got something wrong with him, definitely, man. Fuck me, he's wee fucking gimpy Pee Wee Herman suit in that one, eh? Fucking prick. Oh man,
he's Jewish too, Tommy.
Yeah.
He's Jewish too.
He's like fucking tape. He's like fucking tapeworm, that bastard. That's what he's like.
What you saying, Dominic? I can't hear you. I couldn't hear you, mate. He's like what?
He's Jewish too.
Aye, I've no problem with the Jewish.
No, same here. Here Dave.
I hate it, Dave. Flip me.
I'm not Jewish.
You fucking are,
You're Jewish, yeah.
Okay.
I seen Set back out in Vegas, man. I gave him some abuse. 2 minutes later, I bumped into Broner and gave him abuse, man. That eye in the sky must have been on me, like, get rid of this cunt out of here. Steaming.
Right, let's move on. Let's sticking with lists. Andy, let's get one from you. Joey at Master Mode 33. This is right up your street. You're going to love this one. Give us your top 5 pricks in British boxing right now. Boxers, trainers, not casuals. Boxers, trainers, faces on Twitter, whatever you want. Only a top 5, Andy.
Do you guys want me to leave for a minute if you want to name me?
No, you stay where you are.
Top 5 pricks, right? Number 5, Spencer X. Gonna go for him. Number 4, Joe Gallagher. 3, Smigger. 2, Jamie Cox. And 1, Eduardo Hearn.
See, I wouldn't have Eduardo above Spencer. I think Spencer's got to be top 1 or 2 for me, Andy. I know each to their own.
Yeah, I know, but Eddie Hearn actually lies to casuals, right? And then he has the audacity to go up to people who are hardcore boxing fans, or won't name any names, people who have confided in me and stuff like that, and fucking lied to their faces when they've called him out on it, and he's went away against his own fucking word. So Eddie Hearn, number 1.
Anybody want to throw in any notable mentions, Tommy? I'm sure you've got a fair few.
I'll much align with them. I think a lot of people who use social media would probably include O'Hara Davis. He's got to be in there on a lot of people's lists, hasn't he?
Pretty much. Smido, you must have a few pricks in. Who annoys you in the British boxing world?
David Hay, Amir Khan.
Fuck you, Dave.
Yeah, Hay, Khan, Gallagher,
Froch.
all of the Smith family, including the dad. Not Froch, thank you very much. David Price, Blaine McGuigan. George Grove still pisses me off. Bellew still pisses me off. I don't know why Bellew is now suddenly getting a pass. Like nice guy because he went on someone else's pod. No, Bellew is still a prick.
I like Bellew.
No,
I've always liked Bellew, but you see some crazy shit sometimes, which he admits to himself. But I like him.
I'm going to stop hating on Eddie Hearn so much. I mean, well, I never really did, but the guy creates a product that the people who are buying it are the problem, and the fact that Warren is not adequate competition because he can't sell for shit. I mean, Eddie Hearn is good at what he does, so.
Make shit fights and sell it up as fucking gift wrap fucking shit.
Your problem is with the people who pay for that shit. I mean, if they're not smart enough to be able to tell, it's the customer. It's the same reason those little things that spin on the kids' fingers, fidget spinner things. He's like those things like are selling like, I don't know why, because they spin around or something, like tops. It's just some piece of plastic shit, but it sells like crazy. So they're gonna make them.
Thanks for that, Dave. Right, Dominic, any brief selections before we go on to Bellew of the Week? Who's annoyed you this week in the British boxing world?
Well, not this week, but just over a long period of time. I suppose, Prince Patel, but he seems to have gone all quiet. But I would say...
Anthony Small. Put him in there.
It's a name from the past, Dominic, go ahead.
I would say as well, the imposter that is Adam Smith.
Yes, not Smido, but yeah, the creepy Sky one.
It's the one where he's talking about before it's the sort of things he comes out with. He's trying to hype the Joshua Klitschko fight, and he's coming out with these things. He's talking about the greatest fighters of the last sort of, not just the last 25 years, but the last sort of century. He says like Sugar Ray Robinson, Floyd Mayweather, Anthony Joshua.
I remember that.
And you're just. The case he's a flipping car crash, like.
I remember that.
And he's totally unashamed about he's clearly he's playing to the casuals, and he's totally unabashed and unashamed about doing it. He doesn't give it. He's come out a few times in interviews and he's talked about the casual market, and he's totally unrepentant. He just doesn't care.
Good shout from Dominic.
He won't care when AJ fucking packs up and leaves him and he's fucking having to fill out cards and stuff and go wait begging Surland to loan fighters and that for his fucking cards.
I was going to say this earlier, Andy, because I saw that guy Michael Benson put a tweet out, I think it was earlier today, and he was saying this time next year, whatever, that 3-year contract that Joshua signed next November, and he was just saying that, you know, he's having a conversation with someone about what Joshua is going to do, and he was saying that he thinks Joshua will retain some sort of relationship with Sky and Matchroom, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Like, but
yeah, I was going to say, Dominic, I think that Eddie Hearn's the one who's got to worry. I don't think Sky's got anything to worry because an independent AJ will always come back to them for UK TV coverage. You would think. I think it's Sky who's got the worrying to do.
Yeah, I think that's
no Matchroom. Sorry, I meant.
Yeah, Matchroom and Eddie, they're the ones that have the worrying to do because, you know, Big Russ, I think, has said a few times as well. When you take away AJ, you know, what sort of big cash cows does Eddie have in his stable? You know, who can, like, you know, not everyone believes what Dillian White says, that, like, the likes of himself as a pay-per-view fighter, that's just paying the Sky stuff. You know, there's no real pay-per-view fighters that Eddie has on his books apart from AJ, and that's in large part Eddie's own fault because he's put, over this last sort of 2-3 years where he's been developing Joshua, he's put all of his eggs in that basket. And Matchroom, fundamentally, they're not good at developing stars the way Top Rank are, for example. Matchroom steal other fighters when they've been developed to a certain degree, and they just try and make
beef matchups, fight rivals.
Beef matchups, fake rivalries. They don't know how to build fighters, and that's why you know, they don't. There's a real deficit of potential pay-per-view stars to sort of fill the void that Joshua may or may not leave.
Excellent stuff. Final word to you, Rob Kelly. There's a good stretch of water keeping you from the British boxing fraternity, but who annoys you the most?
Controversial. It's going to be controversial. I'm going to upset a few people. Joe Calzaghe.
Oh, go on.
Never liked this guy's persona. I just can't. I read a story about him before that his ex-missus sold. Now, it could be, you know, his ex-missus giving him a bit of payback for running off with the bird from Strictly or whatever. But she said that after he won the V-Hop fight, that he was in the mirror kissing his muscles. Yeah. I don't need you no more. And I thought, if that's true, what a dirtbag, like, because she was with him from that one. See, like, and then
she wasn't. She had a bit of the face surgery though, mate. So you know, a bit of a duck face. So you know, trade her in for that lassie.
That's a point deduction.
The Russian face Strictly in that, she was pretty hot, and you know, the wife says she was into it. She could do absolutely anything with her legs and that. So fucking pile in, Sir Joe.
And you know that he just robbed B-Hop of his defining fight because, you know, he didn't win that fight. And so screaming at him in the 12th round, telling him, yo, knock him out, you need to knock out. And then Frank comes into the ring rubbing his hands and you're like, oops, he shouldn't have said I'm never going to lose to a white boy. No, I'm only joking. It's just something about him, just wound me up, like, so, yeah, and it's 47-0 and I just can't do it. But yeah, Calzaghe.
I remember in a story about Calzaghe, I don't know if it's true or not, so disclaimer, but fucking I'm going to tell it anyway. There was a guy, he was in Belfast, Calzaghe, for some reason, and a fellow and his missus went up to him and he said to Joe, can I have an autograph, please, Joe? Apparently, Calzaghe turned around and goes, pointed to his wife, let me shag your missus and I'll give you an autograph.
I've heard a similar story with Ricky Hatton. It was like a guy posted on Check Out Boxing Forum, actually. He was fucking raging. Apparently, it was Ricky's mate. He went out to Ricky and says, can I get a photograph of Ricky or whatever, and that, and Ricky's mate apparently turned to him and says, only if you get a shag off his missus or something like that. And they burst out laughing, and Ricky laughed as well, and that. He's standing there like a prick at a wedding there, like, that's for a photograph. That. He's like, are you fucking serious?
So I think, Andy, this could be an urban legend story. Then that's got, yeah.
Yeah.
Ricky is genuinely funny. Like, he has this great phrase, you know, he's talking about killers, you know, in the light heavyweight middle division. He says, someone like Golovkin, someone like Beterbiev, he says, or Kovalev, if you find him in bed with his missus,
you fucking tuck him in.
See when Calzaghe got caught then, like, on the old Peruvian matching powder, and he was like blaming his coming to terms with his career. What, you retire 47-0 with the bird off of Strictly? Like, try getting up for some work and have some real problems, like, will you?
Right, let's move on to Value of the Week and get the hell out of here then, shall we? First nomination this week. I'm not sure if this is the casual or not, but I quite enjoyed it. Sam WDK nominated Mr. Swizzy. He said, I've put £1,000 on you, Conor, £1,000 to Conor McGregor to win. That's a lot of money to me, but I believe that you will make history. And then he took a photo of his betting slip. McGregor to beat Mayweather, £1,000 he's put on it. Good luck with that, Mr. Swizzy.
I wish I could have met that guy. I had some magic beans I wanted to talk to him about.
You can exchange it for a donkey. Right, nomination to you, Dave, the hater low back, bald spastic casual. You were going on about showboating and Mariaga, apparently. I think this is related to the Brian King thing. You don't mind if I nominate you, Dave?
Well, let's get the quote right.
What you said, I can tell you what we don't want. Showboating about an honest and tough but limited and way overmatched Mariaga. You weren't happy with the showboating, Dave?
Yeah, so what's wrong with that quote?
I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the medium.
I think Brian deleted that tweet because he realized I was right.
Well, we'll nominate you anyway. Right, nomination for Tyann Booth. A few people weren't happy about this, but it's been sent in anyway by the Dark Knight at Dark Lazarus. And we go anywhere, Andy, don't we? So we're going to read it out anyway.
Yes, always.
Tyann Booth, I think, had been having a few drinks one of the nights, and he said, after watching Billy Joe Saunders spar today, I think Saunders would now do to Eubank Jr. what Eubank did to Nick Blackwell and put him in a coma. And then he put a little emoji of a urn, skull and crossbones, and a coffin. I mean, that's a bit poor taste, isn't it? Like,
it's also known, Steve, as no fucks given.
and then he followed it up because Coogan Cassius said, wow, Tyann, man, Jesus. And Tyann Booth said, the Eubanks were probably glad Nick Blackwell ended up in a coma because it got them onto Good Morning Britain. # publicity. Jesus Christ.
Fucking brutal, eh? The thing is,
but that's true. That's the truth, Andy, isn't it? The Eubanks, their behaviour after what happened to Nick Blackwell was disgraceful.
I think that's true also.
I know, you're 100% spot on there. I just think, if it had been like a fan or someone no really fully connected with the sport said the comments and that, they'd get fucking hounded because it's actually came from an actual fighter. I mean, I've heard Tyson Fury talk about Magomed Abdul Salamov fight. He says, remember he fought Mike Perez and he got cabbaged, and you can see fucking Coogan's face and that, and Tyson just did not give a fuck, and just kept talking and stuff. So.
Well, it's been a good week for Tyann anyway. On a lighter note, Andy, he's been nominated here by Rick Law. Someone was asking him about Joe Gallagher. What's going on here? Tyann Booth says, no idea. I keep hearing people say Joe Gallagher fucked a dog, but I'm still waiting for someone to send me the video evidence link.
I've seen that. That was fucking tremendous.
Nomination, who's this? Let me see. Kieran Shalou has sent this one in for Sky Sports. They were talking about the Cleverly Jack fight being on the big Las Vegas undercard, and they have changed history a little bit, as Sky Sports tend to do, and said that Cleverly pounded Jurgen Bremer into submission. I don't quite remember it like that, says Kieran. Wasn't it a damaged elbow or something in the end Bremer retired with?
Yeah, but it Clever broke his heart that night, man. He was fucking quit that fight.
He did. He quit.
Okay, nomination there for Sky Sports. Nomination has been sent in for Paul Smith. Not the Paul Smith you'd think, though. Paul Smith 438, whoever this is, has been emailing at Paddy Barnes, apparently. And Paddy and this guy had a bit of a back and forward about Cyclone. There were rumours as to one of the Cyclone people were behind the account or something. But whoever Paul Smith 438 is has been nominated. Cam Renson has nominated BT Sport. They said, watch a big world, British and European title fight live on BT Sport. And then they put up a picture of some rugby match. I think they're getting the sports mixed up. Ellie Setback, as promised, has been nominated. Conor McGregor's footwork, is it better than Muhammad Ali's?
Jesus Christ.
What the fuck?
Are we talking about like Ali when he fought Holmes here, right?
Current Ali, I think.
Or Trevor Berbick or something like that.
Ali at the opening ceremony of the '96 Olympics.
Jeez.
Climbing these stairs to light the fucking.
Fuck me, Tommy, you going up against Tyann Booth this week or something?
I'm just saying, man, respect to the legend, respect, but fuck me.
Hey, today, did you want to go up on one on that one? No.
Yeah, bald, spastic, casual bastard.
I shouldn't make any comments about the dead.
No. Daniel O'Reilly has been nominated. Apparently, he knows his stuff. He said, if it's 8-ounce gloves, then Conor McGregor round 1. There, I said it. Quote me after.
fuck's sake.
And finally, Andy, we had this one earlier from Ben Churchard. Paulie Malignaggi for having a borderline breakdown this week about something so irrelevant that no one gives a shit about it. Well, I'm going to throw my cards on the table straight away before any nominations. I'm voting for Paulie Malignaggi because I'm sick of listening to the whining little shit.
Right, okay, I've got a couple. Firstly, WBA are apparently moving the presidency operation for WBA to Medellin in Colombia. But they're going to keep the main central office in Panama, so they're going to be branching out their corruption into another corrupt country and all that sort of shit, right? So
that's Medellin's fucking. That's where the cartels are based in.
Hopefully, one of them will get bumped off.
That's a great sign. You're going to be 6 titles now. Eh?
Fucking Pablo Escobar fucking ruled that place, man. Right,
How would you get a job for the WBC?
Right, I didn't know who this guy is, right? But there's O'Hara Davis took a screenshot. It must be on Facebook or something. The guy's name doesn't appear on it anyway. The 9th of, what date did Davis fight Taylor again? What date was that? Hang on.
Was it July the 7th?
It was July. It was
It was 8th of July. Started the 8th.
8th of July, right? Okay, so this guy messages. I'll need to read it out how he's tweeted it, right, or how he's
I've seen this. This is a belter.
9th of June at 17:26 in the afternoon, right? This guy messages O'Hara Davis. What's happening, bruv? Make sure you win your next fight. Just jab and double it, and you'll win East, right? He obviously meant easy there, right? 25th of July, 16:51. What's happening, bruv? On a serious note, I lost $8.5 grand against your fight, and I'm in debt. Any chance you can help me out, family? I'm happy to show you proof. Davis tweeted it. He says, "Damn, man, I didn't ask you to bet."
Screenshotted the guy's tweet, DM, and fucking posted it, didn't he?
And who is this guy? James Macca at MaccaJames88 on Twitter, right? And he's basically talking about. I think he's obviously a matchroom fucking fanboy. It says, "Compete with Dana White. You've gone full retard here, mate. UFC is miles behind Matchroom, you plank. This is a company that sold for $4 billion a few months back, and Matchroom are apparently miles in front of them, right? Okay. But I'm going to get the Paulie, mate. Fuck it.
Paulie Malignaggi for Andy. That's for me as well. Guru, who are you going for? Do you have any nominations first?
I was going to nominate Say It Back. Also, I'm going to Say It Back. I think that was outrageous. Or somebody that covers a sport to say that.
I'm not surprised though, Tommy.
I'm not surprised with Ellie. He probably should worse shit than that in his time.
Okay, Rob Kelly, what about you?
That fellow who bet 8.5 G's on O'Hara did.
That's the biggest L since Ray Falco, isn't it? Who booked tickets to go and see Andrade in Germany, and then the fight was cancelled, and he's trying to sue the company.
Well, we got a guy getting the nomination for backing McGregor with a G. The fellow who backs O'Hara Davis for 8.5.
Fuck up.
Here, I've just got a message in here, right? Boxing schedule, right? This is a brief history of Amir Khan's career, right? It's fucking funny. Olympic silver medal, iced, WBA, IBF world champion, man in the hat, iced, wank video, public marriage meltdown, career over.
Number 1 in the pound for pound list for Hater Dave. Right, Dave. I bet you were gutted when Salita beat Amir Khan back in the day, but who are you going for Value of the Week?
Salita didn't beat Khan.
Sorry, I meant Khan beat Salita. I'm talking shit now. Hurry up, I need to go.
Okay, I got 2. One for Andy. Very early on the show, he called the late great Bert Sugar Bob Sugar.
Oh, I explained my reasoning for that.
Apparently, Andy is stoned. Also, this was RT'd onto my timeline. I don't remember by who, so I'm not going to give credit. But Andrew Tate, he's a kickboxer. I guess a professional, win some, lose some. Looking at his record, sort of an like average guy. He tweeted, "Thank you for all the love and support. I am officially a transgender woman. This is a very important thread. I am a girl because this is how I've decided I feel most comfortable, and gender isn't biologically controlled. After watching athletics this weekend, thank God those right-wing Nazis can't stop me competing in the sport I love under my real gender. I can't wait to break a chick's jaw in 12 places and to be the best female kickboxer in history. I'm a woman, so it's totally fair."
She sounds a bit mental.
I'm a lesbian transgender, so I'm going to carry on fucking girls exactly as before.
Fucking
Dave, I'll give you your credit, man. I love it when Dave reads out Belly of the Week. He always finds the crackers. Fair play to you, man.
Well, fair play to Andrew Tate. I think he was on a good troll there.
Right, where are we? Smido, top that.
Steve, I can't top that. One that you read off in your nominations, the guy Daniel O'Reilly, who said if it's 8-ounce gloves, the Conor McGregor round one there, I said it, quote me after. There was a reply to that from Elias Gaskin, who said, if he comes in 8 ounce heavier than Mayweather, he'll be too slow. He'll pick his punches to drop him quicker than Little Mo. I was trying to work out if he was talking about 8 ounce heavier or 8 ounce gloves, if he was being serious, because that is ridiculous. So yeah, Elias Gaskin takes my vote, but
yes.
My actual vote for this week it's got to be Tyan Booth. It's got to be, because that was well bad.
Dominic, do you have any nominations, or who are you going for if not?
Sackback. No nominations, just Sackback.
We've got 2. How many have you had for Setback? Did you vote for Setback, Rob?
No, Rob's not voted, has he?
I know, I voted for the guy that backed O'Hara.
Oh, so you did, aye.
Yeah. We've got 2 for Setback and 2 for Malignaggi. I think they're equal pricks, so we'll just go for a tie this week, I think. Congratulations.
Final eliminator match for them for next week.
Who would win? The current Paulie Malignaggi or Setback?
I'm surprised Setback hasn't taken a smack, actually, when being around that many fighters. Like, I'm surprised.
You never took a smack for fucking Freddie Roach, man. But I think Freddie's just got all ties. I wish what happened to obviously Brandon Rios and Margarito.
Oh, that's right.
With the Parkinson's.
You're like me, Tommy. I'm sure you've seen Setback up close and personal, haven't you? You know, he's an absolute annoying prick.
Oh, he's a weirdo, man. He's a complete weirdo. He was like Pee Wee Herman when I seen him, man.
He's just
Pee Wee Herman.
He
just stands there and asks irrelevant questions, man.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was a paedophile, to be honest. He looks like a paedophile, to be honest.
I guess he's Jewish taste, so he's going to have no foreskin.
Exactly.
So he'd be easily identifiable to those being molested by him.
Steve, value of the week for next week has started already, because someone, Bert_11 on Twitter said, can never understand why Eddie Hearn getting so much abuse. He's the real life Vince McMahon, brings us loads of great fights and entertains us via IFL TV.
He's a grass man. Come on, wise up.
Well,
what's Vince McMahon then? Is he a hologram or something?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. That'll go on the list for next week. But I will not be reading the list next week, because returning to the hot seat by popular demand, I think, is Matty Di Giulianardo. Am I still going to be able to come on the panel at some point, Tommy, even though Matty's taking back over?
So Matty's coming back on?
Yeah, Matty's back with a vengeance.
Wow. Steve's demanding too much money, so we're not going to double his salary, so we're getting Matty on next week for a trial.
What's double of nothing, Tom?
No. One. You're pound a week.
So Matty's coming back.
Highest earner in this island history.
Matty's coming back. That'll be good.
Does Matty even watch boxing?
Tommy and Andy doing a Daniel Levy on it.
Daniel Levy.
Matty doesn't watch boxing anymore, Andy, which could be a hindrance.
It could be, mate, but he's a good master of bullshit. And plus, he just sit there with his bong and just talk shit anyway. Like
Matty can wing it, man. Matty will spend a deal on box rate next week and come on and fucking wing it.
A bit like you, Dave.
Oh, Christ.
Right, that'll do.
I'll not be on either. I'm going to hold it.
Tommy will not be on either. Right, tune in next week. It's bound to be fun. It sounds like it anyway. Right, we've had Tommy the Guru Allen. Thanks to him for coming on as usual. Always good to hear from Rob Kelly. Andy Patterson. Dominique was with us as well. Hey to Dave Loback. No Donny this week, but we did have Adam Smith, which is always a bonus. Have I missed anybody? Did somebody come on earlier? No, I don't think they did they?
Did you not hear what happened to Donny?
No.
Amir Khan's got one retainer.
He's Amir's side piece.
Oh, shit balls.
Hopefully we'll get Donny back for next week. Yes, Matty will be in the hot seat next week, so enjoy that, everybody.
We've got Big Russ in the week.
Uzi B.
Oh yeah, Big Russ. Don't forget Big Russ, Balls Deep with Big Russ. It's live on YouTube. We always say every week, we don't know how we're going to do the 2 hours. We put in another 2 hours, 20 minutes for absolutely frig all. So you should love us all. This is Steve Wellings. We'll catch you again soon, maybe, hopefully. It's been great. Bye.
Eddie's a grass.
Eddie's a grass.
Saggy tits.